I do love that you knew I was making coffee. That is exactly what I was doing. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Um, I hope that everybody's doing well today. The day after Valentine's Day. Do we have any broken hearts? Thank you. It says True North, strong and free, which is basically a political shirt out here, but not really. I just like it because I travel a lot and I like wearing Canadian gear. I would wear this running or whatnot. And yeah, but it's sort of like what the mother is happening here? Sorry, something's happening with my seat. That's not working. I hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, we have some interesting court to watch. Oh, thank you. I'm not wearing any lipstick today. Weird one. Cheers. Regardless of the fact that I made a coffee, it is absolutely too hot to drink right now because it is in my Bubba mug. Hashtag not a sponsor yet. But it is so hot, I can't drink it. Um, so we'll let that go for a little bit. We'll energy up a little bit here with this. My favorite apricot edition, boisson énergisante, or energy drink in English. Tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. While I set up the scene for this evening. So I think it'll be quite a long night because I didn't do the math yet on them, but you know how I am. Hold on. Let me get some fucking energy, please. Tuna sandwiches, grilled cheese and sourdough. You had something green and sticky. Ugh. I had something green and sticky. Um, no dinner yet. Hubby's not home. Asian stir fry. That sounds pretty good. Um, I had a little freak out this morning about the state of the kitchen. It's because it's only me that's cleaning the kitchen, and so it's entirely frustrating for me to be frustrated with myself that I yet every time I wish I would wake up to a clean kitchen, it's never clean, but it's my fault. Anyways, so I ranted a bit about that earlier. But I did end up cleaning the kitchen, so it's all good. And I probably will be interrupted at some point during this stream to put something on the barbecue. It snowed here today. Okay. It snowed here. And yes, I did just say we're going to put something on the barbecue. That was sort of my choice. Less cleanup on the barbecue, right? Um, so that's Courtney, I love you. Um, Spinach. Oh no. I thought it was weed. Damn it. I disapprove. Oh my god, my fucking hair. Okay. Anyway, so it's been quite a day on the interwebs. But I actually did my homework today, if you will. We have two divorce cases. They are not the actual divorce trial cases. These are pre-trials. Both of them are pre-trial motions that are being made. And in fact, we learned that that is sort of how it works these days. You do a lot of pre-trial stuff and you figure out what's going on between lawyers, etc. So, the first case is the one that is on the thumbnail, and I was listening to it. So I'll be honest, I've listened to it because I watched it live, and I waited in trepidation, praying that they would leave it up for me to get, and I was able to get it. So I do indeed know what happens with it. It is not nothing. It's a little argumentative, but regardless. The second one that I got, I got the whole thing, but I didn't listen to it all. So that one will be fresh for me to watch with you guys as well. And I heard some spicy things when I was grabbing it. So, and they're from courts that we don't always go to. I know we go to Michigan all the time. We're going to Michigan first to Judge Bromlich's court, Cork. But we are also going to be going to Kansas. Yeah, you heard that right. Kansas. So, without further ado, because we do have lots to watch today, let me get it going. Tell me again, what are you drinking? Does anybody else? Do you guys get these in the States? Do you get these orange ones, the Red Bull orange ones that are apricot? And it's pink? For some reason, I feel like I gotta chug those. It's because I usually have them before I go to the gym. And are you talking about my boobs? Oh, do you mean literally in the emojis or whatever? You only drink water or alcohol. Well, that sounds like a good sort of life stance, maybe. I don't even know, actually. I don't usually like energy drinks either. And I have hot coffee here. It's just too hot. My test, it's so hot. Hi, Amy. Glad that Chuck sent ya. Glad to see ya. Tell us what you had for dinner. Oh, you guys are so nice. My boobs look great, thank you. I think this one's a bit needs to be raised up. Let's raise this one. Let's raise this boob up, shall we? Oh yeah, that's better. There we go. Oh shit. Okay. What are you doing, Paisley? What are you doing, Paisley? What are you doing? I can't remember. Drinking out of the wrong side of the cup. At least it's not the wrong mug. And that happens sometimes too. Um, so we're gonna start with one lick and then we'll go to Kansas after that. Go. Hold on. Hold on. Might have been able to hear me say, please, under my breath there. Thank you for all the hearts. So sweet. I love that. Love seeing all the hearts flying in the chat. So Ashley, oh my gosh. I should have dressed like Ashley today. I almost did. We look sort of similar. Um, anyway, so Ken up here at the top is the dad. Ashley over here looks like a lawyer, isn't she? Is the wife. And then we have one of the lawyers here. Another one will pop in here in a moment. I didn't watch the beginning of this, so I don't know how it begins. But I do have a question. And I wore my Canadian, like, this is very, I don't know. Anyways, she has a very large flag behind her. Is that common? It seems very large to me. Like, very large. Hello, Erica. Yes, cock in for your shift, guys. Make sure that you hit that like button. Thank you so much. Why is she trying to look like Barbie? I know. I will say, like I said, I've watched part of this one and she does make some good points. She does. But yes, this is in Michigan and I just wondered, is it, is that a common, like, wall decor item? A flag of that size? Because I'll tell you right now, if I went to my divorce hearing with a big giant Canadian flag behind me, I don't know that that would be looked on very normally. They would think that would be weird. But she is wearing, you know, I would say like divorce mourning wear. Anyway, so let's continue on and we will see.
Michael, do you believe we need to talk with Josh anymore based on anything you and I talked about on the phone? Or
whoa, hold on. Why is that not?
Are you ready to go on record?
I think he made it clear to us where he stands, so I don't think we need to.
Okay.
Hey, I said that. I said I literally am wearing what would be considered a political statement in Canada. Like, for example, I once wore this out with my sister, and my sister said, "You're wearing that out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Okay." Like, she was confused because, and I don't like to get political here, but my political leanings are not, like, let's just say I still wear a mask. I have a mouthy face and it saves me a lot of trouble. So I still wear a mask. And so, but somebody wearing this would probably not be wearing a mask is what was in her mind. And so I was like, what are you talking about? She literally was taken aback that I would wear it out. So I totally get it. Like, this is not, although I think I bought this at Walmart. But anyways, the whole point being that I get it, but it's just a very big flag. Is it? Is this about the Raptors? Maybe, Amanda. I don't know. I honestly like it because it's really oversized. You guys, my Coke shirt that I bought that everyone likes is from Walmart too. Yeah, I'm a cheap girly, unfortunately. I wish I had Whole Foods money. I don't. I got Walmart money sometimes.
Ashley Andrews versus Kenneth Andrews.
For the record, this matter is before the court for continued pretrial conference. Subsequent to parties having engaged in mediation with Mr. Walker in front of the court this morning. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. President Attorney Christina Hills, representing the plaintiff Ashley Andrews, and Ms. Andrews is present. In addition, Attorney Michael Cutler is present, representing the defendant Kenneth Andrews. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I apologize and thank you for not being here at when you earlier this morning. I had an event I had to be to. Typically, I'm here until afternoon, so I know things are ready to be called close to noon. But so I appreciate everyone coming back this afternoon. The court has been informed the parties made progress, a partial agreement, and wish to continue mediation. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. In fact, Mr. Walker has provided the court with the following. Perhaps I can share this first of all with the parties. It appears to be primarily parenting time. And that was, of course, the plaintiff had scheduled for hearing today, a motion for a set parenting time schedule. The recommendation is as follows. Parenting time should be week on, week off with exchanges on Fridays after school. The parties should make sure that the minor children are to school on time every morning. The parties shall add any medical, dental, optical, therapeutic, extracurricular, etc. appointments involving the children and other events in the app close shared calendar as soon as they are known. The minor children's therapist shall determine if in-person or telehealth appointments are appropriate. will follow his recommendations. The attorney shall exchange all school extracurricular and phone bills that are past due, paid, or coming due within 30 days. The party shall not track the other party during each other's parenting time. The party whose parenting time.
What? Just slipped that one in there? Like, why would you track somebody? Already setting us off on a weird footing here. And remember, this is a pretrial after they've done some mediating. The last thing I want to say before anybody mentions it is get a good look at Ken in the middle, top middle right now, and his mannerisms, because I don't know when it is, but at some point it will freeze and he will be creed framed visually for the entire hearing. But he does speak, and weirdly enough, when he speaks, his box doesn't light up. So you'll see. Mom is American flag, dad is top middle, judge is top, the other top left, I guess. My left, your right. I don't know. And then the two bottom are the lawyers, and we're going genders for the lawyers. So we got the guy with the guy, the girl with the girl. Okay? And my box lights up when you talk. No, but seriously, you'll see, like, and it's the shot that's on the thumbnail too. And at first I thought, wow, he is stoic, you know, real stoic. But then I realized, I was like, oh no, he's fucking creed frame.
It is, shall not be present or in any way interfere, allow a third party to be present or in any way interfere with phone contact between the other parent and the children. Further, that the mother shall return the minor children's gizmo watch and charger if the charger is in her possession to the father at the next parenting time exchange, which is Friday, February 23rd, 2024 after school. The party that makes appointments for the children shall make every effort to have the appointment scheduled during their respective parenting time. That is the recommendation of Mr. Walker. Ms. Hills, is this recommendation agreeable with your client?
With some clarification, Your Honor, as well as a couple of additional requests. With regard to the clarification, the last sentence that the court read was that the party that makes appointments for the children shall make everything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Here we go. By the way, this is an agreement, but as you know, here it's 44 or 45 minutes that we have to watch of this. So it actually doesn't seem like they were agreed, but this is supposedly an agreement that they've come to. And that's what the judge just read out. Now we get down to the nitty gritty of it where the lawyers start lawyering, really.
Every effort to have the appointment scheduled during his or her own parenting time. There is an implied expectation that the parties would share responsibility for making those appointments. The parenting time is 50-50. So there's an expectation of equal effort in scheduling those appointments and that they would be scheduled on each party's time as opposed to just one party making those appointments and taking the children to those events. Also, it was previously ordered that the parties shall make sure that the kids get to school on time. There have been issues with that. So with regard to...
Erica, I think they might have something to do with my boobs, but I don't know. I don't know. I haven't asked.
Mr. Andrews, it's our understanding based on the mediation that on days when he is not able to see the children onto the school bus, that he would be dropping off the two older children to school on time and that he would utilize the latchkey program for the youngest child to ensure that they are not tardy or absent. So with those clarifications, we do agree with the recommendation. And then again, I do have two additional requests on behalf of my client, but I'd be happy to address those once the court has clarification on whether we have an agreement based on this recommendation or not. And I'm sorry, there is one additional. Mr. Walker ran out of space, but it was also recommended, and he can chime in here if he wishes, that my client have access immediately to the Mesa Health Insurance HSA account for herself and the minor children.
So I actually had to Google this earlier all my American friends which is most of you, will probably know already what an HSA account is, but we don't really have that in Canada. So for the two other people that are, no, I'm just joking. So if I understand this correctly, yeah, I mean, here's what I think. Here's what when I hear about things like that, I laugh to myself and I think, well, you can have an account for anything, but if you don't put any money in it, I mean, is it really anything? But so does an employer put money into your HSA account, your health savings account that you can draw out and use at, let's say, the doctor's office? Or is it like sort of separate money? You know what I mean? Like, can you use the money as you wish, or is it like restricted to health services more than just by name, but by literally, like, if you are like, let's say you want to buy new runners, can you use that? Contribution is by the employee. What? Pre-tax? As in before, so it's a tax shelter is basically it. So you're putting the money pre-tax into the account, and then do they match it? I mean, your employer must match it, right? Right? That seems like that would make sense. When I used to work for like big corporations, I loved it when they would do like matching or rainy day health fund. It's all your money. But so can you use it on whatever you want? What would happen if I was like wanted to go to an acupuncturist and I wanted to get acupuncture? It's for high deductible insurance plans that cost less monthly. Only on qualified medical costs. Exactly. So there are stipulations. Interesting. Very interesting. So I Googled it and I was like, is there a Canadian health services account? And of course, the banks will call, and it's just like I said, they'll call anything you want, uh, whatever you want, but it's not, there's not the same thing. It's not, we don't have the same sort of tax sheltering thing for medical reasons. I think that some banks might offer it to employers, but it's handled very differently here, obviously. Um, okay. It was confusing to me that the money is like your money. So I guess you would, oh my gosh, that'd be terrible. I would never put any money into it because, oh, anyways, that's just my own problem. Also, you guys, I cut myself, speaking of medical, I cut myself earlier today for your teeth implants. Speaking of, I made a dentist appointment the other day. Um, I'm not against tax sheltering, but it seems like a very short-term tax shelter. You have to use it within a year on medical stuff. What happens if you're fucking healthy? Like, what happened? Do they tax it and give it back to you, or do they just keep it? I have questions, you know. Um, Becca, holding meds in your mouth before you swallow them depends on if it's got a coating on it or not. If you have a coating on it that is supposed to be a time release, you don't want to hold it in your mouth because then it won't be good. But I do love me the taste of a sublingual Ativan every once in a while. Sweet, sweet relief. Um, $800 a month. Okay, we can't get too much into the healthcare thoughts because my brain is just cannot do it. But I will say this: when um I called the dentist office, and oh yeah, thoughts to Mikey. Obviously, if nobody knew that yet, um, there was a passing in Mikey's family, and so he wasn't on today. It's very sad, and I've sent my condolences um, via the internet. But anyways, here's the thing: when I called to make my appointment for my tooth, and I don't really want to point it out that much, but here's the reality: is that one of my front teeth is chipped, and I chipped it when I was 18 years old, and I had my tongue pierced at the time, and I would flick it across my teeth constantly, and I chipped it. And subsequently, I've had it fixed like 2 times. But the last time I went and got it fixed, I recall it being quite cheap. Like I remember it was like, I swear it was like $80 to get it fixed. And I like walked in to this dentist office off the street, and it went great. And so I called that same dentist office. Now, first things first, they said, yes, oh, of course, Paisley. Yeah, we would love to book you for an appointment. Um, April, first of all. Secondly, then I was like, okay, well, can you look and see what I was here for before? And she's like, yeah, oh, I can see it. I'm like, okay, yeah, so that's what I need done again. It came off. Okay, how much was it? And she wouldn't tell me. She wouldn't tell me. She's like, well, it can range in price. And I'm like, no, how much did I pay last time I was here? You just told me you have it in the system. And she wouldn't tell me. And I'm thinking to myself, these fuckers are just trying to figure out how much more they can charge me. I don't know what to do. I guess I could just request a copy of the bill. Shop around a little bit and see. Jonathan Miller, Southwestern salad kit with extra bacon bits and shredded cheese for dinner. That sounds really good. We have a Southwest kit here, and they included in it comes with these, like, I think it's freeze-dried corn. I've looked everywhere in the world for freeze-dried corn. I don't know where, whatever company it is, you know the company I'm talking about that makes the salad kits. I don't know where they get them. I think I need to phone them. I think I'm gonna have to phone them because I want to buy in bulk just the corn to eat as a snack. It is so delicious. It crunches, it's dry, it's beautiful, it's amazing. And I looked at the ingredients list, and it just says like corn. I'm like, no, that's not just corn. It's so much more than corn. Anyways, okay. Mayor, have a good day at work. Be careful. Let's keep going. Also, make sure that you clocked in, both here and at your real job, you know.
That was previously ordered and has not happened to date. So there seems to be no reason why that shouldn't be done immediately.
Thank you, Ms. Hills. And of course, if the court adopts a recommendation, you can certainly prepare a formal order if you wish that.
It's Caesar salad, that's what it is. Avocado Caesar salad. Sorry, I gotta look it up. It's the avocado Caesar salad, and I'm gonna look up what it came with. Hold on, okay.
Incorporates and then expands upon some of these things. And certainly, by implication, those are all appropriate. Mr. Culler, is this recommendation agreed with your client?
Only in part, Your Honors, and I'll explain. The current situation of the parties are exchanging the children on Tuesday, week on, week off. It was our understanding that mother requested the change from Tuesday to Friday.
Those kits, Twisted Caesar, that's what it's called. Twisted Caesar. And by, what company is that? Fresh Express. Do you guys have that company? Fresh Express. Also, that salad kit costs $6, which is a lot. I'm gonna look them up. I might just phone them.
Never told that father would be deprived 11 days with the children. So we thought, and those never told to us, that it would be this coming Friday. Since mother made the request, we understood she was willing to switch it to Friday to accommodate her reasons. We had no objection with that. But we were never told it was going to be a week from this Friday. And I expressed my objection of that to Ms. Hills. Apparently, mother doesn't care what day it is, whether it's Monday or Friday. So I suggested, in order to avoid either parent being deprived time with the children, that of course next Monday is a holiday, so just continue on Tuesday, and then there on out it would be every Monday. That the exchange would occur at the school as opposed to being at the police station where it usually was in the past. So I expressed my concern with that. I spoke to Mr. Walker. I think he'll agree that he did not indicate to us, if we agree to Friday, that it had to be a week from this Friday, depriving dad parenting time. I did offer alternatives to Ms. Hill, saying if father's going to be deprived these 3 additional overnights, why don't we make
Thank you so much, and welcome, Bloody Mary. You guys, okay. See, look, all they say here in the ingredients list is corn kernels. They're open for another half an hour. I might actually phone them. It says, this salad kit brings on the fresh flavor you love with sweet corn kernels, crunchy tortilla strips, and nutty Parmesan cheese, dressed in smooth avocado Caesar dressing. Oh my God, my mouth is watering. I want the corn kernels so bad. I'm not joking. I asked everybody in the grocery store if they had them. I Googled them. I can't find them. I need to know where they source these corn kernels.
it equalize it, give them a couple additional days during the upcoming holiday or some other occasion. Unfortunately, I did not receive any traction on that. So it's one is the Friday date in order to avoid any conflict for either party to lose precious time with the children. I'm suggesting Monday. I would also indicate that we were never told about this access to the HSA. That was never an issue brought up in our room. I know the parties are attending mediation in a short period of time. This will be private mediation. We can discuss that and other issues that we have also addressed during our discussion, including father having access to certain codes and passwords, which are in mother's possession that she does not relinquish. As far as the last issue, on time, it's my understanding that both mother and father are having issues.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, I'm doing well. They are fighting over 2 days. They are fighting over more than that. Wait for it, Erica. Or sorry, MB. They are going to be fighting over 1 hour difference coming up here. That salad kit, by the way, is delicious, but like $7 basically with tax is a lot. Every time I think about it, I'm like, you could really buy like the dressing and a thing of lettuce and make it, but I can't get the kernels. Can't get the kernels.
Having the children to school on time, we would think both would do their best to make sure that they are not tardy, that they're not late and not missing school. And there was no agreement about utilizing latchkey. In fact, what was discussed in our room with Mr. Walker.
Oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with my coffee? Did I forget to put sugar in it? Ugh. Blech. Blech.
Was that either party could use latchkey or a after-school tutoring program if they wished. And if they did exercise that program, they would be responsible for the cost. But neither party would be required to use it because the children have a number of activities and they have other obligations. That's how it's described to us, Your Honor.
All right. You indicate that there's another mediation scheduled, Mr. Cutler?
It is. It's scheduled for April. Maybe you can remind me, council. I think it's April 20. No, April 17th. I
22nd.
think
April
22nd.
22nd with Mr. Godfrey. And
And
Your
I'm
Honor,
hoping that everything gets concluded at that point to the private mediation.
What time, April
Yes.
22nd, Ms. Hills?
I believe we're starting at 9 a.m.
All right, that's just about 60 days off. Mr. Godfrey is very good at what he does. So, Ms. Hills, I guess, with respect to the HSA health account, is that critical right now? If in fact, Miss Mom incurs an expense, I guess she can just pass that expense on to Dad if Dad's been paid out of the HSA account. Seems like it's sort of cumbersome. I mean,
They've traditionally paid all the medical expenses out of that account, and she's always had access, particularly to her own information. But she's cut off from all information regarding health insurance and explanation of benefits and that sort of thing, as I understand it, with regard to the children as well. I think she has a right to see those things, and the court did previously order it. It's just not been complied with. So I don't know, I take Mr. Cutler at his word that didn't come up in their room, but it already is a court order. We're just seeking enforcement of that. With regard to the exchanges.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hills, on that issue, does Ms. Andrews need a card? Has the account number been changed or something so Ms. Andrews can't use it?
No, not to my knowledge. Is that correct, Ms.
Okay.
Andrews?
I have access to the HSA savings account, but there are no funds available to pay any of the medical bills out of the HSA account. And I do not have access to any of the EOBs through MESA.
So, Your Honor, it sounds like she has access, so it sounds like the prior order was complied with. The fact that there's no money is because it's been used up. That's through his employer.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may address the exchange for parenting time. We came about the Friday. It wasn't necessarily my client's suggestion. Mr. Walker had expressed some concern about exchanging the children in the middle of the school week and how disruptive that was. And that certainly is a good point. So we discussed different alternatives, and my client did like the idea of exchanging on Fridays. However, we didn't discuss initially when it would start. My client already had a pre-planned weekend up north with the boys to see their grandfather. And so that we discussed the start date when we were putting the final touches on Mr. Walker was putting the final touches on his recommendation. So that's how that came about. There was no intent to deceive or play games or anything along those lines. If we were to exchange on Mondays, that's still
Yeah, Dad's not going to change from now till the end of the hearing, you guys. He is 100% creed framed, but I believe he's still in the hearing. I don't know how this happens, but, Also, if you're just getting here, welcome. Please clock in for your shift. Hit that like button. Super helpful with YouTube, Daddy. My fickle master.
Disruptive to the children's school week. My client has indicated to me that with regard to those 3 overnights of parenting time that Mr. Andrews would currently be deprived of, she's been denied a number of other overnights of parenting time and days of parenting time over the last couple of months. However, perhaps the easiest thing would be we would ask the court to adopt the recommendation and simply reserve those 3 overnights to be addressed at mediation with Mr. Godfrey.
Your Honor, if I can just quickly touch upon that. Father's also indicated that he's been deprived parenting time, but I don't want to go down that road. I'd like to address that during the mediation that we had scheduled. As far as disruptive, it's a drop-off at school. If they are currently utilizing Tuesday, 1 day off is a lot less disruptive than the end of the week being the exchange time. So I don't understand if that's the concern about disruption for the children. If they're dropped off at the beginning of the week and spend the entire week with one parent, that seems to accommodate all the concerns. I'm not sure why that's a problem, but if it is a problem, I guess we can continue to use Tuesday until we go through mediation. So we didn't ever agree to have Mom have the children for a whole 11 days and Father not seeing them at all until a week from this Friday.
Very well, the court believes that right now the parents are exchanging at a police station. Is that correct?
Correct.
Your Honor.
the court believes that the most appropriate place to change is minimize contact between the parents, and they can exchange at school. So either the court believes that exchanging during the week is disruptive for the school. So the court believes the best time to exchange is after school on Fridays, Mr. Cutler. So I don't know if we change the Fridays. Of course, inclined to simply adopt this recommendation, Mr. Cutler, and the court will reserve any request to make up parenting time by either party. The court notes for the record that Mr. Andrews is being deprived 3 overnights. We will address that. The court will reserve that. Subsequent to, and if parties cannot work that out mediation, the court will address that after mediation, because the court's going to schedule another pretrial conference immediately after this on April 22nd to mediation. With respect to the authorization or access to the HSA health account, this says there's nothing in it. So I guess, obviously, I guess the court can order that Mr. Andrews, if he's not going to give Ms. Andrews access to the OBs, then he's ordered to provide copies of all that to Ms. Andrews.
Fine.
Print out all the hard copies. You can go online. Very often they're online now. He can print them off whenever there's a medical appointment made and provide those to mom. How are they right now sharing uninsured medical expenses? Is there an order that provides for a percentage?
No, I don't believe there is.
Okay.
I don't believe there is either. I would defer to my client. I know Mr. Cutler's even newer than I am, and there have been a lot of orders that have been put in place prior to us being on the case.
HSA account has been what has been used, which is out of my paycheck, out of my employer. This is Ken speaking.
Okay, Ken, thanks for speaking. Thanks for the hearts, guys. You're going to see coming up, like I said, I've already seen this part. Wifey is going to jump in here, and I think that I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if it's reasonable for her to continue and think that her health expenses should be covered 100%, but I don't know, you know? Maybe for a short period of time after the divorce, but that doesn't seem like something that should be continued forever. Also, look at my bruise on my arm. Oh my God. I gotta put more cream on that.
Okay.
So 100% of it's been out of me.
Okay. Are the incomes, is there a disparity in income? Are they relatively equal?
There is a disparity in income, Your Honor, and an issue regarding what Mr. Andrews' income should be considered to be based on a previous loss of employment.
We also have some concerns, Your Honor, regarding mother's income, things that I'm investigating at this point. Again, I expect us to make headway on this and present it all during the mediation process within the mediation summary, and hopefully we can bring it all to conclusion.
Jonathan, I think that that's a good idea, but as somebody who I got pulled off of my ex-husband's medical plan the minute I said I wanted a divorce, basically, before we saw any mediator or anything, which I know you're probably not supposed to do, but that was basically the first thing that he did, would be to cut my benefits plan from his work.
Conclusion, my client would like to have this wrapped up during that session.
All right. The court's confident too. Ms. Hills, the prior order for the HSA account, did it order that Mr. Andrews continue to fund that?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. All right. So the court can reserve that issue. We can reserve that issue about the, yes, Ms. Andrews.
I would like to state that all marital assets and liabilities, marital status was to remain status quo. And as of September 8th, that was the last contribution into the HSA account, where that has been an ongoing contribution for numerous years throughout the lifetime of our marriage.
Okay, well, that's noted. Are there any current outstanding medical unpaid expenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Approximately how much? You're talking about $200 or?
We're close to 1,000. We have a high yield deductible that starts over as of January 1st. And so once we hit that high yield deductible of $2,500, then our medical expenses are covered for the remainder of the year. We tend to hit that high yield deductible between April and June of each year. Our HSA account has always been pre-funded for the following year as the contributions have always gone in. I do have documentation to provide and show forth to the court of those deposits into the HSA account that normally come out of the employer's out of the check from the employer.
So, Your Honor, I haven't seen these documents. If they have them, it'd be great if they exchange them. I know part of our agreement is to exchange some of these bills and records, including children's related extracurricular activities, school bills, and other things of that nature. If we can have some of this information, I'm sure counsel and I can review them and go through it. I don't know any reason as to why the my client is essentially a state employee. I don't know why something may have been restructured, but we'll get to it.
As they should, MB and Jonathan Miller. I think that is reasonable. It certainly put me in a predicament when I was left without medical coverage that I had become used to. And this is why I've explained to my ex-husband like that I actually was not the crazy ex-wife that you think I was. Because I never even thought that. I just sort of moved on and got my own job that had insurance or dealt with it myself. But and yeah, you absolutely can watch a divorce on YouTube. We've done many of them convivios, but some are more exciting than others. This is a pretrial motion in this divorce. It's happening in I was about to say Texas. It's happening in Michigan. We're going to do another one after this that's happening in Kansas, but we are often in Texas, so that's why we talk about that quite a bit.
The bottom of it. It's the first time I've heard about it today. It would have been nice if I had some time beforehand.
Well, if the status quo order has not been modified, then it appears to the court, and we'll reserve that issue, but it appears to the court that Mr. Andrews should continue to contribute.
Live stream my divorce, huh? That's a good idea. The court is not live streaming it to this channel. I'm Kitchen Court Chats. I'm live streaming it. The court live streamed it earlier. So, I mean, there's really only one stop between somebody giving commentary on your divorce and it being in the court.
Who that HSA account as he has in the past. Yeah.
Wait, that question, how did you find them? How did you find it? Are you into court or boobs?
Understood. And I don't know if he's made a change or if something changed within the system. I'll have to find out. And I certainly will advise my client that any order of the court needs to be followed per the T, per the dot. Everything needs to be applied to. So I will certainly investigate into that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Color. We don't obviously want medical providers turning away this family and saying, well, you got unpaid bills, we're not going to treat your children or whatever. So yes, Mr. Color, you can discuss it with your client, the clerk, if that.
But be forewarned, I'm Canadian. So I don't, I need to have things explained to me a lot. That's what I'll say.
Status order has not been modified, then the court would expect that Mr. Andrews would continue contributing to that HSA, at least to take care of these existing outstanding debts, medical bills. So Ms. Andrews, perhaps you can provide those to Ms. Sills, you can provide them to Mr. Cutler. And to the extent that they're not resolved, the court will address that after the mediation on April 22nd, 9 a.m.
Your Honor, I'd just like to say one thing. There is money and there was money in there. But if you look at the most expensive thing that you can do is take your children to emergency care. And that has been her practice recently. So that has drained that account. And a lot of those practices, instead of having, making your doctor's appointment and doing it the correct way, she's using that, which has completely drained that account. So of course, there is no money in that account if you're not using it appropriately. And ever since July, you actually told us after July that we should separate our funds, and that's what I have done. If the average divorce is 6 months with kids and we're 13 months in, what was she going to do for employment? It's very confusing for that. So.
All right, you're both represented by two very capable family law practitioners, and the court believes that with your assistant attorneys, you can work through those issues together. Mr. Godfrey is very capable, and the court's confident that he will be able to make progress in helping the two of you reach your own agreement, which is without question the best resolution is one in which you both participate. Far better off than this court making these decisions. But if we don't have a resolution after the mediation April 22nd, the court will schedule a trial date so as to finalize this matter. But at this point in time, the court will adopt Mr. Walker's recommendation. Mr. Andrews has a planned weekend exchange with his parents on the weekend of after February 23rd. Is that correct? So he wanted, because this is a parenting time.
No, Judge, I don't think that's correct. I think it was Mrs. Andrews. And yes, we have coffee made, and it's super warm and delicious in my Bubba mug. Hashtag not a sponsor yet. Also, I would love to be sponsored by the salad company as well. Send me so many salads. This is happening in Michigan.
For Dad, will start February 23rd after school. And he has something that weekend, correct, planned?
No, it was Mother that had it this weekend.
It was Mother's reason for wanting not this Friday to be exchanged, but to be next Friday. She claims she has something between those dates.
Well, it would make any difference if we go to beginning of Friday, March 1st? Is that going to make a difference?
Well, that would mean that father wouldn't see the children for 18 days straight. Yeah. So we certainly don't want that to happen.
All right, I understand. So the court's going to adopt the recommendation. The exchange for Dad will occur after school Friday, February 23rd. The court will reserve any overnights, whether it's 3 or more overnights, to Dad. And of course, if there's any parenting time as due to Mother, the court will address that at mediation. If it's not resolved by Godfrey, the court will address it at that time. And this shows if, in fact, you want to expand upon to clarify some of these points, you can do that in order. I think this order does cover everything.
We'll do that, Your Honor. We did have 2 additional points.
Okay.
If I may at this time.
Please.
The 2 older children, Garrett and Colin, are struggling mightily in school right now. Each is getting 3 E's in different classes, including each of them in math. My client has engaged the children in a homework help program after school, and she has the kids going at least 3 afternoons after school each week on her weeks. The cost is only $2. It's 1 hour, $2 per child, 1 hour of help with homework and tutoring. And we are requesting that under the circumstances with the children's grades being what they are, that Mr. Andrews make use of that program as well. As I indicated, it's only $2 per child per hour.
Jonathan Miller, good question. I don't believe so, only because I don't think you can use a green screen image and the blur function on Zoom at the same time. So I think it's in real life that she's got that behind her. Also, I got a Kansas docket to watch after this. Lucy, which seemed pretty juicy for Miss Lucy. Unless the pic for the green screen is blurred. Yeah, I mean, you could use but if her blurring moves, then we know it's the Zoom blur. But yeah, again, and what is with the grading? That's so odd. Super odd. And I mean, this is coming from a Canadian girl who I heard apparently you guys don't say grade 3 or grade 4 or grade 5 or grade 10 or grade 11, grade 12. Like, that's what we say here. I guess you say, like, you're in the 12th grade. We would say you're in grade 12.
but my client is willing to foot the bill for that as well, if that makes any difference whatsoever. But it certainly seems appropriate that the children get that extra help available at such a reasonable cost. It is my understanding that Mr. Andrews would have the ability to pick the children up after that program was over. So I don't know of any reason why we couldn't take advantage of that for these children who are struggling academically.
How many days per week?
She's doing 3. Is it 4 days total that it's available, Ms.
It's
Andrews?
available 5 days a week, but I don't want to overload the children with any extra activities that they may have. So 3 days a week, I believe, is sufficient in maintaining and assisting with their grades.
Okay, and what days of the week?
So we've been doing a Tuesday to Tuesday schedule. It just depends on what days are efficient for the boys. Within the week that I have them, I request them to go 3 days a week and I pick them up from school.
What days would you take them?
They
Tuesday,
attended
Wednesday,
yesterday.
Thursday?
Sometimes it's Wednesday, Thursday, Monday. Sometimes it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It just depends on what projects that they have during the week and what they need additional assistance for. But as long as they're going 3 times a week, they're getting that extra hour of academic support.
How many hours per day? Just 1 hour per day?
1 hour per day.
So you're talking about $6 a week.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Keller, any reason why Dad couldn't continue that when the children on with him, that he provide the homework health program 3 hours per week?
Well, the problem is, Your Honor, once again, this was never brought to my attention. No email, no information. We don't know anything about this program. I'm sorry.
The court's going to order it. The court's going to order it.
I understand.
Again, if you want, you can talk with Miss Hills again. I can put you in a breakout room. You got time staff, and you can talk about it. But it seems that for $6 a week, there should be some consistency, continuity. So, but I'll let you talk with Miss Hills. But the court's inclined to order it, Mr. Cutler. Do you want to talk with Miss Hills further about it?
No, Your Honor. I was hoping to get actually the program. Maybe she could send me, I asked before, a link to this program so we can find out about it. I don't even think opposing counsel was really aware what program it was. So maybe her client can advise her and that information can be passed.
No, we don't have. First of all, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior is so foreign to me that like a senior's house, like that would be so crazy. Oh, thank you. You're so great. Make sure you turn on gifting like Kathy did. Check this out. Yay, Kathy. Thank you, Chris. No, so yeah, that would be very odd to say you're going to a senior's house. You would think an old person. You would be in the grade 12. And also our grading system is different too. I know that. But definitely not. And so, but when we would watch television shows or movies where it was American, like we didn't have prom. We don't have like homecoming. I went to my first football game in Florida when I was there. And like I was I'm sitting in the stands. First of all, I'm talking to everybody, which is just me. And then they were like announcing all of these different like school programs that they had at the school. And I was like, they have all of these programs? Like I was amazed. Sport programs, especially where I'm from. I mean, I went to a fine arts high school. I will say that. Like we had an R&B band at our high school, but we didn't have a boys soccer team or a girls. We had a girls soccer team like 1 year, I think. We didn't have a lot. Like no football, no. We did have. There was like some kids that would do track. Like I did track. But even like, yeah. No, Canadian A's are, yeah, we have a different grading system. Anyways, I don't know. But I need to grab some. I want some lemonade now, so I'm gonna make some lemonade.
We certainly want to make sure the children receive appropriate education and appropriate tutoring. We just need some investigation to find out where this is and what it is, so he can make an
Sure.
agreement.
That's appropriate and reasonable, Mr. Cutler. Thank you. Ms. Hills, can you provide that information to Mr. Cutler forthwith?
I believe that Mr. Andrews is aware of the program that the children are in, but yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He is not, Your Honor. But
Okay.
that would be great.
All right. So if you can get the information, pass it on to Mr. Cutler so you can review with Mr. Andrews. And yes, the court would order that. Mom, you continue. That's important. Obviously, the education of these children are very important. So yes, the court's in order that each of you provide 3 hours per week. And then the same makes sense for the be consistent continuity that it's 1 hour per day. Ideally, if you could agree upon a date, but again, if it's dependent on what other activities the children have, I'll leave that to the parent in whose possession the children are in at that time, that week, whether it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll leave that up to each individual parent. But the court order that begin forthwith. Ms. Hills, something else?
Yes.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say she uses it for daycare, or she uses it more for her transportation purposes. So unfortunately, I use the school transportation to and from school. That's the reason why I moved into the district. If I didn't move into this district, I would have saved at least $400 a month in my rent. So that there's
Okay, yes, I would go nuts over homecoming moms. I'm gonna look into that. Second thing, you guys, I love these. Oh, you can't see it. The crispy batter jalapeno rings from Walmart are so good. Go get yourself some. Obviously, these are the Canadian ones because everything's in French and English. Everything. Yeah. Product of Spain? Spain? Oh, also, Bloody Mary. Thanks for being a member for 2 months. Appreciate that. Anyways, I put the rest of these in, so I gotta set a timer actually. I'm gonna set one for like 8 minutes. 7 minutes, 43 seconds. There we go.
I find that very restrictive, and on my rights as a parent. I understand the value of it, but I also need that transportation to get my kids to and from school.
Oh, I know. It's jalapeno. That one I know. I say jalapeno. Honestly, I only say it when I'm reading it, and for fun. But you can't really talk if you're American and you say foyer instead of foyer. Okay? Until people say foyer, I will say jalapeno.
So there's the double-edged sword of that.
This court's only concern is the children.
And I don't think I say garage. The garage. Are you going to the garage? Can you take this to the garage? That's how I would say. Garage. Go to the garage. Garage? I don't think I can say it. But it is foyer. Guys. Promise you. It's foyer. So, park the car in the garage. Or actually what I say very odd apparently. We are making pasta for dinner tonight in the plaza. We're going for pasta in the plaza for dinner.
Right. And that
So
the
it-
transportation of the kids would be, if that's a struggle for me to get to and from, I find it very restrictive. I do.
Okay. What hours is this program? It's immediately after school, Miss Andrews?
That is correct. It runs from
So-
2:20 p.m. until 3:20 p.m. And on 10/23/2023, Mr. Andrews and I had communication regarding homework help through app
So
close.
But Your Honor, I think my client's point is that he utilizes the bus system, and by mother requiring this, and certainly maybe father can have a different option. Possibly he can utilize his own tutoring for the children. Possibly he can have somebody come to the home to tutor the children. And
Right.
because he needs to utilize the busing system for his employment, I think that's the point he's making.
Okay.
Right. And what happened is that the kids started youth wrestling after practice, and there was a duration of time, like an hour and a half. And to fill that time, this is when she came up with this. So this would be her daycare, if you will. So she didn't have to do the transportation and take the kids to practice. That's how this originally came about.
The academics is more important than
Yeah.
sports at this point. If they're failing classes, this education and additional help on their homework, it takes precedence over wrestling or any other activity they're involved in. So, do you have any family members, Mr. Andrews, that can assist and pick up the children at 3:20 or 3:30?
Oh, of course, but
Okay.
yeah, I just what's frustrating about it is that she put a court order against me originally.
Hold on,
a while.
Mr. Andrews. Hold on, Mr. Andrews.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, if my client can use third parties to pick up the children from school and bring them to his home, it sounds like he can accommodate their after-school program. It's certainly a low price. If it is a benefit, obviously everyone wants to utilize anything they can for the children's benefit. If that's not an issue, then I'm sure it can be accommodated.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hills, is there a problem with that?
I don't believe so. Ms. Andrews, do you have any issue with any third party that the children know picking them up after the school program?
I do not.
Okay.
Mr. Andrews, who would you propose? Your parents live in the area? You got a sibling?
Oh yeah, I could have a brother, two brothers. I have a sister-in-law. I have a father. So yeah, there's plenty of responsible adults that the kids are very aware of who they are to pick them up. Yep.
Your Honor, as an accommodation, I'll speak to my client. He'll have to speak to these people within, I'm sure, a week. I can send an email to opposing counsel, indicate a list of individuals who may be able to do this. Obviously, they will all be licensed by the state of Michigan to operate a vehicle and have a functioning vehicle of some form. There's the basic requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Cutler. All right, so did that address that, Ms. Hills?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Final issue is with regard to the minor child Colton. He has expressed to my client, who has in turn expressed to Mr. Andrews, that he
This judge's name is Mark Braunlick. Braunlick. Also, we could do a members only about funny Texas things. I want to do, what is it? Mutton racing or something like that, where the kids jump on the mutton thing. And then also, first of all, please keep in mind I love Texas. I was married in the state of Texas, even though I'm Canadian. I live in Canada. I've never lived in Texas, but I've traveled there multiple times. I even got married there to a Canadian, but still. I just really do enjoy the Texan people. But even though the last time I was in Houston in last summer, it was 115 degrees. Mutton busting, that's what it's called. Mutton busting. Mutton busting. Yeah, I want to watch that. I think that's great. I also have a clip of these two British guys watching mutton busting for their first time. And that is what made me just laugh my ass off, mostly. The other thing, what else was I going to say here? Oh, wait, we have 17 minutes left of this shit. I thought we were so close. I know, Lisa, I've been. It's illegal in Florida too. Anyways, but yeah, joining a sport or a rec team is a good idea. We have something, or we used to have before COVID, something called like adult recess, where you could like sign up for adult recess and you would like meet up. Does not sound weird. Adult recess. But it was basically like a sports club, a drop-in sports club where they rotated the sports that you played every week or every couple weeks. So it wasn't like, oh, you have to be good at soccer or whatever. It was like, oh, 1 week it's soccer, 1 week it's dodgeball, 1 week it's kickball, 1 week it's badminton, all the different things. Did I go? No. Did I think about it? Yeah. But I did not.
Is uncomfortable with being left alone with his older brothers, who are very physical with him, according to Colton. He is much smaller than they are, and it makes him very uncomfortable that they treat him as physically as they do. So my client is requesting that the two older children, or neither of the older children, be left to essentially babysit Colton, who's 11, because again, it does make him uncomfortable with the physical treatment.
Your Honor, this We never heard this before. We deny it entirely. The older children are over the age of 12. My clients never witnessed anything of that nature. And all the children, unfortunately, in this situation, like most divorces, they're all trying to use the parents in some ways to manipulate things. That's where we believe this comes from. This is entirely a creation of mother and without any support at all. To put that additional burden on father to sit there and to have somebody there and present incur the expenses, I don't think that's necessary. There's never been an incident of any violence that we're aware of whatsoever, but I'm sure we will address these issues in mediation.
All right, obviously, boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Brothers will be brothers. The groceries have arrived. I will indeed need to make them on the barbecue. How American of me. I'm sort of joking. Sort of not. I hope he bought buns. Oh my God, if he didn't.
And obviously, both parents should instruct older boys, don't pick on your little brother. I mean, that's his parenting skills. I mean, obviously, it's easier for the bigger brothers they're bigger, to pick on an easy target, their younger brother, and both parents should simply instruct the older ones not to just leave Colton alone. I think that should be adequate, and both parents should, if they're aware of it, make sure you tell the older boys that. Don't just if they want to wrestle with someone, they can wrestle with their dad. They just back off and don't assault Colton.
It's a gas grill. We also have a gas fireplace. Oh, sorry, or a fire pit. Somebody's yelling at me now.
If it becomes an issue, we can address it later on, but at least it's been brought to everyone's attention, Ms. Hills.
Thank you.
The court will mail out a notice for the parties to appear for a continued pretrial conference subsequent to the April 22nd 9 a.m. mediation with Attorney Godfrey. And again, as previously stated, the court will adopt the recommendation for today. So the parties will exercise week on, week off at Fridays after school rather than at a police department. It's better at school for the children. And the dad's parenting time will, of course, start then the Friday, February 23rd week from tomorrow. All right. Again, Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, you're both represented by two very capable law family practitioners. Follow their advice and work to these differences. You got 3 children that you need to raise together and be on co-parent. So with that, anything further than Ms. Hills or Mr. Culler?
Your Honor, I just asked that Ms. Hills could just send me the proposed order in stipulated form so I can look at it as opposed to just submitting it under 7-day rule. I'd like to work. If there's any additional language, I'd like to be able to discuss it with her and work through those. But I don't think it'll be a problem.
I'm 35 for another 39 days, Kay told me today. Pet life. How did I miss something? First of all, I had a bad experience on Pet life, but I'm not going to talk about it now. Yeah. But this is a good place to talk about kink stuff.
That's no problem. I don't like 7-day ruling orders and only do that when I feel I need to. I'm not there certainly yet with Mr. Cutler. My client is raising her hand. If I may ask her if she has something else.
Certainly.
Yes, I'd like to add, I have completed the high conflict solutions course for co-parenting. As Christine, as we have discussed, if you could make a recommendation for that further in the court, I would appreciate that for that to be ordered as well.
Actually, I think all of us should take that course. Okay, guys?
And then, yeah. That's what
I said gas grill. Sorry, Jonathan. Can somebody write that to Jonathan? I don't know if he's hearing me. It's a gas grill. And we also have a gas fire pit. And here's the thing. FetLife, and I don't know about the other website, but Fet is for people in the fetish lifestyle. I wouldn't recommend going to FetLife if you aren't active in that lifestyle because it is not a dating site and that's not what it's for. And I used to hate it. I'll just tell you this, viscerally hate it when people would approach my inbox having seen like photos or seen things that I've done and then just assume that they get to do that thing. No, I don't like that.
Did the court
I
previously order
think-
that, Ms. Sells?
The court did not order it. It's something that I had suggested for my client based on my experience with this court and the nature of how this case was going when I first became involved. It has not necessarily improved since then, although I'm hopeful now with Mr. Cutler involved that things will be on the right track. But I certainly don't think it would hurt for Mr. Andrews also to participate in the conflict solutions course. That is not
Rick, I just don't think that's a great place to start looking necessarily. I think it's overwhelming for a lot of people, and it could be, I just don't think that's a good place to dive into the BDSM lifestyle. And I'm a huge proponent of BDSM lifestyle. I told you guys before, I wore a collar that was locked on for a long time, many years. The longest I ever wore it without taking off was like 9 months. So I know what it is to be collared and submissive. And I just also know that that lifestyle is not, it's not that I'm trying to gatekeep it. I just don't think that that's the best place to learn about it, to be honest. And if that's not what you're already looking into, then I don't know. You know? You know? I'm scaring him, probably. I always do that. Why are you single, Paisley?
something which I have spoken with Mr. Cutler about at all, or made him aware that that's something that this court fairly routinely orders in high conflict cases.
All right.
Your
Thank you,
Honor,
Ms. Sells. Perhaps
since
you can pass that information on to Mr. Cutler. And if necessary, yes, if in fact there's issues still existing between these parties, the court would order both parties to do that, and generally require both parties to provide a 100-word essay to this court in terms of what they learned from the class. But at this point in time, the court's not going to order it.
100-word. Hold on. Did he just say 100-word essay? Rick, first of all, sorry. You have to understand something. I am actually, in a weird way, not talking about it. Plenty of fish, MB. That's what POF is. But I'm not talking about that as from the perspective of convilious, like finding somebody. I was purely thinking about it as a person on that website getting approached in that way. But that might be, again, a selfish viewpoint to take. And I'm trying to think of that now too. Like, for sure, if that's something you're interested in, go and look. But I don't think that, like, I don't like any dating websites for a lot of reasons. You know what I mean? No, not Plenty of Fucks. That'd be funny. No, Plenty of Fish. POF has been around for so long. And I really think he said 100-word essay. And I want all of you right now to write 100-word essay on this subject. I think we can all do it. Are we going to have Friday night entertainment tomorrow after the stream? What do you mean? Like do 2 streams? Do my first, what's supposed to be entertaining, and then do it again? Like do it again? Is that what you mean? There's a fun Zoom speed dating site? Really? I swear to God, he said 100.
There's issues still existing between these parties. The court would order both parties to do that, and generally require both parties to provide a 100-word essay to this court in terms of what they learned from the class. But at this point in time, the court's not going to order it for Mr. Cutler. I'm sorry, for Mr. Andrews. But if you could pass that link on to Mr. Cutler, he can look at it. And I'm sure if Mr. Cutler please, it would help his client, he will suggest to his client to take that. But the court will not order it this time. But certainly that is a legitimate issue that the court would in fact order if there's still if the conflict between these parties does not diminish. So I don't know if you're familiar with that program, Mr. Cutler, but we can take a look at it once Ms. Hill sends you the information about it.
I think I was familiar with it a while back, but I probably need a refresher as to its current status. So I appreciate that.
No
and I found that it does help parents. It does help parents in terms of looking at things differently and just reducing the conflict for the benefit of the children. So the court would certainly encourage it. Mr. Andrews, I'm not going to order it at this point in time. The court would certainly encourage it. Mr. Andrews, did you feel it was worth your while?
I did, Your Honor.
That's such an American thing to have judges have reviews. I will absolutely be looking that up later, Kay. And this is why you can't I can't speed these up because he talks so fast. Some people are happy in their marriages, MB being one. I've only been divorced once. And, you know, whatever. Do you guys want to see the I don't even know what they are. I don't know if they're called sausages or hot dogs that we got for dinner, but I'll grab them.
I actually had positive feedback from it and I learned quite a bit. There was actually information and videos from the children in there that I felt would be beneficial for my children to see from a child's perspective going through divorce. And I have shared those learning points with them as well.
Okay, I always like to get feedback. I don't want to order someone to engage in a program that is not worth their while, but thank you for that input. Right, anything further than this afternoon, Ms. Sills or Mr. Cutler?
No,
That's
thank
fine,
you.
Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. That'll conclude this pre-trial.
Thank you.
You can zoom out.
Okay. Sorry, I was eating something there. Has she said it yet? I think they're gonna laugh right now about that being a set like an agreement. Then we're not gonna watch the rest of this. I forgot. I sat and watched this for a while, but it's just dead time. We'll start our next hearing. But listen.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that at 11:15.
And that was an agreement?
Yeah, partial. Doesn't look like that guy should know.
Oh, what time is it set for?
2:30.
Okay, you want to call it over here?
Okay, so we're gonna start our next hearing now. This one, like I said, I don't know much about. I went in and out of it, and I'm glad I got it. It was gone by the time I got back later this afternoon. And it has some weird shit going on in it. And the angles, again, I do not know where people are putting their phones to get these angles, but I don't know. And also, these are what do you call these? Fully sausages. Sure. Cheese, sausages, gluten-free. Oh, they're gluten-free. Sans means like without. So that means without gluten. Gluten-free. Okay. Click on the video, obviously. So I gotta go start the GM.
All right, we have a couple of cases set at one. I'm going to start with Miss O'Hara's case because I think she has a 1:30 hearing.
Your Honor, that did get moved, so it ended up getting moved because the other side had something happen. So
okay.
Whatever Your Honor wants to do, I just gonna let the court know I'm not on.
Well, I don't see him. He's pro se. Mr. Patterson assured me last night that he notified Mr. McCartney of the hearing. His withdrawal was just going to be by paperwork because he didn't retain him for this case. And so I let him withdraw. But he assured me that he forwarded the information about this hearing and then re-forwarded a link to him yesterday. So we'll give him time to see if he's going to come in or not.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and just take up Miss Henry's case.
Sure, no problem.
So, Miss Henry, I don't see Preston Patterson on here either. And Mr.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, Mr. Patterson was not retained for this case. Am I getting the two mixed up? Yeah,
Judge, I
Mr.
believe he was on both.
but he's not now. Okay. We're on the record in Patterson versus Fleckenacre.
I'm sorry, what was that last name, Judge? No, she's not pregnant. And again, I don't know what the angle is. And she is going to be the lady in the hearing that we're going to be watching here. Like I said, I didn't watch this whole one. So I barely watched any of it. So we're going to see. But she's not, I hope not pregnant, because I think there's some crazy shit going on.
The petitioner does not appear. He's previously been represented by Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson sent him, this is the one that we had the 11 o'clock paper. Yes. This is the one that I spoke to him about. I apologize, Miss O'Hara. That is not correct on your case. So on this case, 23 DM 35, the court was assured that Mr. Preston Patterson was made aware of today's hearing and sent him a link. And you have filed a verified motion to adopt what's de facto.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Case.
Lucy, same goes, except I also, some of my favorite shirts, here's a real fucking Rama tea secret for you. Because I know there's been no tea spilled today at all on the internet. Like 3 of my favorite shirts, I hate saying this, are maternity or nursing shirts. I love them. Like my purple shirt, you guys know the purple shirt that I wear. Great boobs. Maternity, I'm pretty sure.
So are you still asking for supervised parenting time Monday and Wednesdays from 5 till 8?
That's correct, Your Honor. Yes.
By paternal grandmother?
Yes. Paternal great-grandmother. She's Preston's grandmother, but yes.
Okay. And your client signed a verified application. So she indicated the family is equally concerned about his drinking and what's going on with him right now.
They are, Your Honor.
Okay. And he doesn't really have any stability because he doesn't have a residence and anything that's too stable at this point, correct?
Correct. And he actually has not seen the child since the first part of January. I mean, not seen the child at all, but prior to that, he was doing supervised time with paternal great-grandmother. So he's not really had, I mean, he does FaceTime calls. We did ask for reasonable phone calls. So he has been doing FaceTime calls. But my client indicates that he's told her he's traveling for work. Not really sure the validity of that statement, but nonetheless, he hasn't seen her since the beginning of January.
All right, so I'm going to award the respondent residential.
Ooh, you know what I found out recently, which you guys will laugh at? In Canada, do you know what our biggest dollar store chain is called? Dollarama. Dollarama. But nobody would say they're going to Dollarama. They would say, I'm going to the dollar store. But you would mean Dollarama. And that's where you go. I think there's like over 1,500 stores in Canada, which is a lot. But Dollarama definitely sells eyelashes too.
Custody. I'm still going to keep it joint until you file a motion for sole and you can prove these somewhat incapable or unfit at this point.
Judge, I'm sorry to
Canadian Tire exists, but I don't think they sell lashes there. Do you think they do? No.
interrupt. I just accepted a phone number that just came into the waiting room. They're present now. I'm just not sure who it is.
Well, they're gonna have to turn their video on, have to announce themselves.
Use another number.
You just have to say your name.
Yeah, this is Danny McCartney. Trying to
All right.
turn on the FaceTime, but it doesn't let me use my FaceTime.
All right,
So
well, keep working on it. Keep working on it. I have not called your case yet. Okay. Supervised Monday, Wednesday, great. Paternal GP. 5 to 8 p.m. until further order of the court. In order for him to not have supervised, he'll have to obtain a drug and alcohol evaluation, wear a scram unit for a minimum of 30 days, and have enrolled in treatment or some treatment recommendations. Okay, now what are we gonna do about child support? Is he still ordered to pay the $338?
So Judge, we have requested a new child support based on my client having proposed primary residential custody, which nets a $541 a month child support obligation for Mr. Patterson. We filed our motion in January, so I'm asking that be effective February 1st, especially since Ms. Flackenecker's had residential custody this entire time. I
think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and the 338 to do it up till March 1. And March 1, then it will become 541.
Okay.
Do you have a IWO in place?
So yeah, so I can file one with the new amount. I think there wasn't one with the previous. I was not Ms. Flackenecker's attorney when they finalized things. I don't think there was an income holdover that was done there, mainly because he has an arrearage through January 31st. I know I can't do February yet because we're not at the end of the month, of $1,848. I checked the KCC before the hearing.
Okay. Whatever the arrearage is, put that in the journal entry as a judgment. I mean, it's already a judgment when due, but just go ahead and put it in as a judgment so it's real clear. And then you better add $50 a month for arrearages.
Okay. And then I will do an IO, Your Honor, for the new amount and the $50.
Perfect. Anything else?
The only thing I wanted to clarify, so for the supervisor, we did say great grandmother or any of his other family members as agreed upon. I just want to make sure the court's okay with that. I think he has parents, mom and dad, and a sister that my client's close with. Grandma is just who Mr. Patterson was living with for a period of time, and I think has the closest relationship with Parker, but wanted to make sure the court was okay if we added that language and then that he have reasonable phone contact.
Yes, or phone / FaceTime.
Okay.
PAP, boy, was he 2? He's not very old for FaceTime, is he? Is he 3?
Yeah, he's 2, correct? Yeah, he's 2. Not very old for FaceTime, but sometimes I think it works, so.
Okay. All righty. Yep, just journalize it.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to go on the record in Sarah McCartney versus Danny McCartney. Ms. McCartney appears with counsel. It's O'Hara Gehring.
Okay, this is the case that we're watching now. Sorry. That one was just setting it up, I guess. So, I have to go check on the hot dogs. They are on they're sausages. Also gotta go put these onto toast a little bit. And I put some waffle fries in the air fryer.
Mr. McCartney is self-represented. Okay. I know you want to argue. Let me just tell you, just kind of looking this over, Morgan, I am not inclined to change the kids' schools at this point. Right now. And I don't know how your client can manage every other week shared, but that's the existing order. I understand that hasn't been the de facto situation, but I don't know how she can do that and get the kids to school every day. What I would propose, if the kids aren't have to be involved in weekend activities for right now, just to let her have every weekend from, a Friday time until a Sunday, or if she wants to take them to school Monday morning, that's fine. Mr. McCartney, I received a letter about Ms. McCartney's recovery and her progress. It's pretty impressive, actually. We'll forward. Is there any objection to me forwarding this to him?
No, I think I got it. I think I got it this morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Can't do LPC anymore. So he moved to Mulvane, then she moved to Sedan. I was going to Google the distance. I'm sure it's fairly significant. I'm trying to think where Sedan. I never go to Sedan.
It appears to me it's over an hour.
Okay.
I'm sure the parties could confirm that, but from what I just Googled on my phone, it appears to be over an hour.
Did your client move?
Jonathan Miller, I don't know. I think I grilled Italian sausages. Those ones are, I guess, Johnsonville sausages. They're so yummy. This one is in Kansas, Convillias. Kansas. The 13th Judicial Court in Kansas. But I was looking at the package of the ones that I just put on, and they're fully cooked all the way through already. So I guess I just have to heat them up all the way through, right? Like there's no food safety concerns, I suppose. So I'm not as worried about the timer that I had going now.
Move there because of her treatment program, the job work program, or she has family there? Is there some reason she is there? Is it permanent?
Your Honor, it's my understanding it is, and it's for work. She went to treatment there, and she has work there, and she has a strong, support network there for her. So my understanding from my client is that that Mr. McCartney is intending to also move the children to Harper, Kansas. So my understanding is he's trying to move the children to school as well. But I mean, he unilaterally changed their school on his own. And so Your Honor, in their position, they should be back with their mother. That's who they really always lived with.
Right. Except that they were going to the Augusta schools, I think. So
yes, and Mr. McCartney just didn't return them one day and then switched their schools unilaterally. And then my client tried to involve the police and they wouldn't do anything. So she had to save up money to get an attorney and filed her motion as soon as she could.
Okay.
But money.
Okay. So now we see these are lightly toasted now. buns in my hand, which I'm gonna go put on a plate. Interesting. Interesting. Muy interesante.
Mr. McCartney, well, first of all, I'm gonna place you under oath. Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay, so these are twins, a boy and a girl, right?
Well, they are actually what they call Irish twins. One was born in January of 2012. One was born in November of 2012.
So not twins at all. Also, that's a terrible look for her. I get what they're saying, but that's not really twins. Can't really identify them as twins if they're just Irish twins. No offense. It's totally different. That's so different. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. Same grade though.
No.
No, different grades. What are they?
Yep. They're a year apart. So
Okay.
one's in 5th grade, one's in 6th grade.
Who's the oldest?
The girl, Brooklyn.
Okay. Any necessary weekend activities?
She's playing basketball. Yep. Her final game of the regular season is Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then the next Monday she starts her tournament. So they don't have school that Monday. And actually I'm scheduled, me and Sarah's mom have been in good contact, and the kids went to her house last weekend, in fact, and she returned them, and they're supposed to go after the game Saturday to her house. And then she was going to bring her to the Monday evening. She begins her tournament for the basketball in Rose Hill. She's playing for a Rose Hill team as well. She played for Mulvane, but that season's over. Now she's playing for Rose Hill as well.
Okay. So where do you work?
I work in Wichita at GTG Peterbilt. The Peterbilt.
How long have you worked there?
Over a year. I started there in November of the previous year. So November of 2023, I'd been there a year. So
okay.
And 3 months. My previous job, I had been at it over 7 years, and then before that, 9 years.
Okay.
I've only had three jobs, all mechanic jobs, since I've been out of high school.
Okay, so you're a mechanic, not a driver. And
nope.
Is that in West Wichita? Where do you go to work?
Yep, I go to West Wichita there. It's in front of the Cotillion.
Okay. Why are you do you have a girlfriend or something?
I do.
Is she living with you?
Yes.
How many kids does she have?
She has one boy.
Does she have him full time?
Yes.
And how old is he?
He's 8.
And are you contemplating moving to Harper or moving?
I always have, even when I was married to Sarah. That's been my end goal. We lived in El Dorado when we first got married, and we bought a house right when we first got married, and it was too small for the kids that we had very suddenly in 1 year. So we tried to sell that house and we never could get it sold. So we had to find a rental. And that's when we moved to Augusta. My job at the time was still close to Augusta. So we just moved down the road to Augusta and was renting. And I've always been looking to buy once again, once I got my credit back up from that previous first time I bought my home.
Okay. So you're renting in Mulvane.
Yeah. Well, I was renting in Augusta, and the reason I had to move is the landlord. I'd been there for 7 years, and the landlord's husband passed away abruptly. He had a brain hemorrhage, and so she reevaluated. She had a bunch of properties, and she reevaluated her situation and decided to sell her properties. So I had 45 days to move, and so we moved to a place right off the turnpike. It's in Mulvane. I mean, the address is Mulvane, but we're right off the turnpike by the Kansas Star Casino area.
Okay. And where were you born, or where are any parents or siblings at?
Yeah. Harper, Kansas. Yep, that's where my mom and dad and my brother lives. My brother's a school teacher. Well, he's the athletic director in Attica, which is a school there in Harper.
How far away is Harper?
From Augusta or Sedan or Wichita, because the kids, all their dentist and doctor and everything's in Wichita. We're just 20 minutes away right now. That's why we stayed so close.
So how far is it from Wichita?
Right now, or Harper? Harper is 45 minutes.
Which way?
Southwest on you take K42 down to Highway 2.
Okay. And where is her family from?
Augusta. And she has her mom lives there, and I think one brother.
Okay.
But I am trying. I filed paperwork to do this a while back, but so when I changed jobs, I tried to move then. I changed jobs in November so it's 24. So November of 22, I tried to buy a house in Harper then, and it fell through. Okay. And I didn't have the kids full time then. We were still going to do what we had been doing. And, okay. But since then I have reapplied to get a home, and I actually have a contract on one in Harper. But right now the kids go to school in Mulvane, and that's where they'll be going to school until the end of the year.
All right. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't want you moving anywhere else without court permission. I certainly don't want you moving the kids out of the school they're in until they finish the school year. And hopefully their grades are good and they're doing fine in school. But I do acknowledge that on 12/21 of 23, you filed a motion to modify parenting time. I'm not sure why I mean, it takes 30 days to get usually on the docket, just status case. So in the interim, she's hired an attorney. She's in recovery. And it indicates that she had primary residential. I mean, I would not be opposed to going back to an every other week schedule if the parties thought they could manage it and keep the kids in school and keep their grades good. And, you know, that's a lot for her recovery though, Ms. O'Hara, to have all that responsibility. That's why I kind of thought if she just went into the weekends, and had them on the weekends, she could manage her job, manage her treatment, and see the kids on weekends for now. And then I would set it for a custody hearing. This is going to become very complicated if she stays in Sedan and he moves to Harper. So I'm going to be looking at where the kids should go to school. There's no reason to keep the kids in the school where, in fact, I don't even know what the current status is on transfer students of kids being able to stay in districts when they move. But I just don't think that's a very good idea. So, I mean, I understand. And if you want me to set this over in the next 2 weeks, you can find a date and I can do more of a trial in person. I'm happy to do that, but I'm trying to accomplish what I can. I understand what your client had, but I mean, I think in all honesty and candor, she has to admit that she relapsed, had issues, and had to go into treatment. And so that sort of thwarted the whole shared custody or even primary residential that she had prior to that. And so that's what I'm inclined to.
No, the lawyer represents the mom. He is pro se, Jonathan. I think. I don't know if we'll hear from her. This is interesting. So it sounds like they're wanting a switch over here. I don't quite understand how he was able to try and, like, he noted something for the docket, but then it didn't get put on or something. That was sort of confusing to me. I never made the lemonade. Damn it. I need lemonade. I'm so thirsty.
Due is the weekends for her right now. and look at shared for the summer and a trial date in the summer. So I can decide by fall where they're going to primarily live and go to school, because they can't, I don't know how far Sedan and Harper are.
Yeah, that's like, I looked it up. It's like 2.5 hours, over 2 hours.
I just want to state that my understanding from what my client would testify to is that she did not begin going to treatment until after Mr. McCartney withheld the children from her. He created the situation and refused to return them. She was not, is my understanding, in treatment that precipitated this action. She ended up going to it afterwards. I think she was pretty down in the dumps because there was nothing she could do. She didn't have money to hire an attorney, and then reverted to, as my understanding, the drinking got worse. But it wasn't that he took the children. It was that she.
Hang on, Mr. McCartney. Why don't you cross-examine him about these things? So you're still under oath, Mr. McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
They're alleging that you violated not only the court order, but the de facto situation, which appeared to be more of a residential custody that she had of the children, by not turning them over during what should have been her time. So that's their allegation. I understand that you filed a motion to modify, but you can't withhold children without getting protection orders or getting DCF or someone involved to say they're at risk.
Until Monday.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. All right. Cross-examination, Ms. Gehring.
Mr. McCartney, isn't it true that prior to October of 2023 that the children were only visiting you on weekends?
Prior to 2023, you mean like their whole life? Or are you talking
prior
about?
To October of 2023, you were only seeing the children on weekends. Isn't that true?
No, I would get them on weekends, my holidays, anytime, school was out, the stuff like that. Yes. But
okay,
yes,
during the school week, the children would be with their mother Monday through Friday. Isn't that true?
No, because they mainly stayed with their grandmother.
Okay, so they stayed with their grandmother in Wichita. Is that your testimony?
No, in Augusta.
Okay. But you filled out a uniform child custody jurisdiction enforcement affidavit in which you stated that the children, when you filled this out in December, had lived with their mother, Sarah McCartney, at 1700 Custer Lane from February 2021 to the present in Augusta, Kansas. Isn't that true?
I don't know what document you're talking about, but no, they stayed with, when I lived in Augusta, they mainly stayed at my house on 1225 Gulf Street.
Okay, but you then moved to Mulvane in October of 2022, correct?
Yes.
And then the children continued to attend Augusta schools. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And during the week, they did not stay at your residence during the school year. Isn't that true?
Oh, correct. Yes, correct.
Okay, and then when in October, at the end of October of 2023, you failed to return the children to their school on Monday, October 30th. Isn't that true? Yes or no?
October, I did not return them to their mother the Sunday before that, so the 21st of October.
Okay, so they were to return to their mother on a Sunday, and you didn't return them. Is that correct?
Well, actually, what we had been doing was, when I got them, I would pick them up every Friday after I got off of work in West Wichita, pick them up in Augusta, and then on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. We would meet in Wichita at Hillside at the Quick Trip on Hillside and Kellogg. And for several weeks leading up to it, she would not be able to drive the car there to meet me. So she would have me bring them all the way to Augusta. And I would usually have to, by her request, take them to her mother's house. And to the best of my knowledge, they stayed at her mother's house for most of the school year so that either her or her friends could get them to and from school.
Okay. But you,
I did that
you did
knowingly, yes.
exchanges
because I
on
have a big
Fridays and
relationship
Sundays,
with-
correct?
Do what?
You did exchanges of the children on Fridays and Sundays, correct?
Yeah, a school got out or like on a Thursday or something, yes.
And then you were to return the children to their mother on a Sunday evening in
And
October.
she was able to
True?
get,
Yes or no?
yep,
Really?
she did not,
Chris?
yep, she did not
You
pick them
did
up.
not return them, correct?
Yeah, I could,
They're really a live chase. You guys know how I fucking love live chases. I'll keep it. Oh God, there's something coming from the other room on TV. I swear to God, I was like, what the fuck was that?
took them to the hillside at Quick Trip and nobody was there. I did not leave them at Hillside and Quick Trip, no.
Okay, so then you kept the children after that and didn't have them go to their school, which was Augusta School on the following Monday, correct?
Yep, so then that following Monday, I
Yes
called.
or no? Yes,
Yes.
you didn't return them.
Yes.
And then you switched their schools, correct?
No, not right off, nope.
Okay, you didn't make any effort to contact Ms. McCartney after you failed to return them, correct?
Yeah, so I was in contact with her still then.
You were in contact with her when you were withholding the children?
Yes, I was in contact with her.
Okay, and what did you tell her at that time?
What do you, I was asking about the involvement of DCF and her lashing out at the kids. My son felt threatened and abused and did not want to go to his mother's. He had not been staying at his mother's for months, as I had found out that first reported. And it was
Your Honor, object is non-responsive. The question was specifically as to what you in contact with her about.
Yes or no, Your Honor? I can't see.
Whoa, getting spicy. Also, thank you guys for the info. Yes, I remember.
All I can see is her. Am I just supposed to answer yes or no? Or am I supposed to?
Yeah, that's what cross-examination is. Yes,
I'm not
that's why
sure.
people get an attorney. So,
What
yeah.
were you?
I was trying to get an attorney. DCF actually referred me to.
Objection, Your Honor. It continues to be non-responsive to the question.
Okay, you need to restate your question, please.
Mr. McCartney, after you withheld the children from their mother, you have testified that you were in contact with her after that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, what did you tell her after you withheld the children?
I don't know what you're wanting me to say.
Well, what did you communicate with her about?
I asked her why they had not been going to school because the school records showed they'd been missing school.
Do you have their school records from their attendance?
I do not.
Okay, so you have no idea how many absences they'd had up to that point. Isn't that true?
Not off a hand, no, not until I got in contact with the school then.
After you chose to withhold the children from their mother, you did not make any efforts to return them to their mother. Isn't that true?
Because my son
yes or no
begged and pleaded with me to not go to his mother.
Yes or no? You made no effort to return the children to their mother. Isn't that true?
No.
What efforts did you make to return the children to their mother after you refused to return them in October of 2023?
I showed up at Quick Trip to return them at 6 p.m.
Okay, after that, you didn't make any effort to take them to their mother after that date. Isn't that true?
On Tuesday, after that, I tried, but there was still no response from her. She couldn't drive and operate a motor vehicle or do anything. So there was no way of getting to a meeting point.
So you tried to return them to her the following Tuesday on October 31st of 2023. Is that correct?
As far as I can remember, yeah.
Okay. And
yes,
you were provided the findings from the Department of Children and Families from their investigation in 2023. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And they were all unsubstantiated, correct?
Which one are you talking about?
Well, there was a report of 12/28/23 that unsubstantiated any physical abuse by their mother against Brooklyn McCartney or Rudy McCartney. Isn't that true?
So that was 12/28, and we're talking about October. That
Okay,
was
well,
one.
there was an investigation in which a report came out in December of 2023 that unsubstantiated any allegations against the mother. Isn't that true?
I don't know anything about that. No.
Okay. And Mr. McCartney, you were provided, I think you advised the court that you received a letter from Ms. McCartney's treatment provider that was provided today. Isn't that true?
This morning, yeah.
Okay. And in that, it stated that she didn't begin her treatment until November 9th of 2023. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And that was after you withheld the children from her. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Or you could look at it like I mean, that sounds like a bad argument to me. Hey, she was pretty fucked up during that week and a half before she went into treatment, and you are mad that he didn't give the kids to her? Like, I know he's not sounding good, but also those facts aren't good. If she was so good and could take the kids, why did she need treatment the next week? In fact, it doesn't sound like he withheld. If I was there, I would be sort of framing it like we didn't withhold the children. We were facilitating her ability to go to treatment.
So you agree that she was not in treatment when you chose to keep the children from her. Isn't that true?
She was not in treatment. No.
Okay. And
But
you
she was
didn't
not.
advise the court when you filed your motion when you filed your motion, you told them that the reason that you needed the children is because she was in treatment. Isn't that true?
When I filed the motion, yes.
Okay,
And that was
at the time you withheld the children from their mother, she was not in treatment at that time, correct?
correct.
And you didn't have any court order that authorized you to keep the children from their mother. Isn't that true?
A court order? No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying that I'm sorry. You're going to tell me that withholding children caused her to relapse in a week? Do I look convinced by that? I'm fucking not. That's piss poor fucking blaming of a child or children. No, sorry, lady. You don't get to pretend like your kids are the glue that holds you together and that without them your whole life falls apart and that's their responsibility. It's not. Okay? And I'm being serious. If you're telling me that your sobriety is so tenuous and relies upon grade 5 and 6ers, then that ain't good. You know? Her attorney said it. No worries. I know. I'm having fun. Also, I bet it gets worse, Kay. I don't know why I have a radar for these things, but I didn't watch it. I just like kept an eye on it so I could download it after it was finished, hopefully, and luckily I got it. But I was busy watching something else today.
I had the.
And why did you not? You live in Mulvane, Kansas, correct?
Yes.
How far is Mulvane from Augusta?
I don't know. Maybe less than an hour, I would say.
Okay. The children had been attending. The children had been attending Augusta schools for how long before you took them out in October of 2023?
Their whole life.
Okay. And so you never made any effort to return them to the Augusta schools after you took the children, did you?
Yes, I did. To the Augusta schools? Yes, ma'am. I did not return them to their mother, no. But
okay.
I did return them to the Augusta schools. And that's why I changed schools after talking with the school counselor and the school principal.
Okay. They missed, what's the date that they returned to the Augusta schools after you took custody?
I would have to look at my phone. I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Isn't it true that they never went back to the Augusta schools?
Physically?
Asked and answered. He already said they did. I don't like her. I get what she's doing, but I don't really like the tone either. And again, I don't know. And look at mom's frowny face. I'm sorry, ma'am. That doesn't look good on you. Look. Oh, look at this. By convalesce. I will hate every person on the screen except for me. Thanks so much. Thanks for subbing. Come on back. We're here every day. Look at her face, though. And again, remember, I don't know if you heard me say this at the beginning of the stream. It told you that I wear a mask all the time still because I make faces like that too. And I know people see. But.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. And at no time did you ever discuss switching the children's schools with their mother, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You told them that you told her you were gonna switch schools?
Yes.
Okay, when did you tell her that? When did you tell her that?
October before we did it, because my daughter begged and pleaded with her.
Okay, so before you took the children and Mr. McCartney, before you took the children and withheld them from their mother, you told her that you were going to switch the kids' schools. Is that your testimony?
Say that again.
Before you withheld the children and refused to bring them back to their mother, you had already decided to change the children's schools. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, when did you decide to change the children's school?
October. Let me look here. I have some notes. So you're saying October 22nd is when she could not pick up the kids because she couldn't meet me.
Yeah, it does look like her. Oh, you can't really see it. My phone's so dirty. Oh my God, that looks exactly like her. Wow. Hold on. Okay, it's not much better there. That looks exactly like her. That's crazy. I don't know. Dad should have got a lawyer, but on the other hand, what I'm hearing right now sounds like protective parenting in a way. Yeah. And if anybody here wants to pretend like she was totally sober before this and wasn't experienced troubles, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I really just don't. I don't believe it. I think he's probably telling the truth about her not being able to come to show up for whatever drop-offs, etc., that she utilized other people. And I think that may be a hindrance to her sobriety walk as she goes forward, because you really need to openly acknowledge those shortcomings and the combobulation that you've put family through, and pretending like it was a-okay until this happened doesn't bode well for her being able to look reflectively upon herself.
Me at Quick Trip.
Mr. McCartney, I'm not testifying, and I did not say that. I'm asking you, when did you make the decision to have the children switch schools?
October 25th, after I talked to Officer Bohannon at the Mulvane School District, and I had my kids talk to him as well.
Okay, and so you chose to switch their school without talking to their mother, correct?
No, I told their mother, I asked their mother to please go get treatment for your kids and for yourself, and to let them go to school in Mulvane until she can recover.
Okay, when did you tell her that?
October 25th.
Okay. On October 25th of 2023, you had made the decision that the children would switch schools, and that's when you say you advised their mother. Is that correct?
Yes, and I asked their mother. Well, I tried to get a emergency change of education is what the officer recommended.
Yeah, I'm going to object to anything that is hearsay in this non-responsive question.
Sustained.
Mr. McCartney, if you'll please just answer the question that's asked.
feel like you're wasting.
You told Ms. McCart, you told the mother that you were switching the schools. You didn't ask her if she agreed. Isn't that true?
No, I asked her.
Okay, so you asked if she would agree.
She agreed to
Yes or
go.
no? Did you ask her if she would agree?
I asked her.
And was her response no?
No, she decided to get the treatment.
Okay, Mr.
And
McCartney, my question is, their mother did not agree for the children to switch schools. Isn't that true?
True.
Okay, so you unilaterally switched the schools over mom's objection, correct?
Okay.
Yes or no?
According to you, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, if I'm looking out for the best interest of my kids, then no.
Mr. McCartney, when does your house close? You have you're under contract in a house for a home in Harper, Kansas. Is that correct?
It still has to get appraisal and stuff like that. That's
okay. When is that gonna? When do you expect that you would close on this house?
I'm not sure. I don't know yet.
Okay. Is it going to be in the next few months?
I don't know. It depends on if I get approved for the loan and this, that, and the other. I don't know yet.
And if you get approved and the house closes, do you intend to move immediately?
No. Okay. We still have access to this house, so that we'll be continuing school at Mulvane for the rest of the year.
Okay. And your daughters had to switch schools in the middle of this school year, correct?
Drastically, yeah.
Okay. And were the girls, I'm sorry, were your children able to adapt easily to the new school?
They are, right. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Mr. McCartney, were your children able to adapt easily to the change of schools this year?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that they would be able to adapt easily to another change in school this year?
This year, no.
So it was okay to do it one time this year, but another change they couldn't do. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. And why is that?
We'd be going backwards. We've made so much progress with Rudy that we'd be going backwards.
And Mr. McCartney, you are a registered sex offender. Is that correct?
And I have several witnesses and people that would.
Mr. McCartney, I'm objecting to non-responsive to the question.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
Are you a registered sex offender, Mr. McCartney?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't doubt you, Kay. I knew it. Sometimes, and again, my brain wonders, like, if I'm some sort of court savant. Like, out of the thousands of hearings that I look through all the time, I didn't know this was in here. All I saw was all I heard was about her alcohol thing. I didn't hear anything else. This is not good. Not good at all. Oh, the plot thickens, Beverly. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Let's see what we get.
And how old was the victim of the crime that you were convicted of?
Over 30 years old.
And do you have to register? And do you currently register as a sex offender?
Yep. And I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm off of probation. I currently register. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do.
Okay. And
I'm clean with the state and the counties and everything. So I don't know why that would have anything to do with my kids.
Because by statute, it is a consideration for the court.
Okay.
Were you registered before the kids were born or when you were with Miss McCartney?
When I was with her. Yep.
Your Honor, it's my understanding my client would testify that was one of the reasons the parties ended up splitting up. I believe from what I can see, he was convicted in 2018. I think this case was filed in 2018.
Okay. Go ahead.
And Mr. McCartney.
Well, fully compliant is better than the guy from Thurston earlier this year or this week. It's also earlier this year, Paisley, but trying to, yeah, why wouldn't she have led cross with that? Even the judge was like woken up. But I think that, well, I guess if she left him because of that, that might play into it. But the fact of the matter is, if he was a registered sex offender, then, and she knew about it, it's hard to now be upset about that. Yeah, at least it's not a thing about children. Thank fucking God for once. Okay. What a day. Yeah, med check. Everybody take your meds.
Courtney, in the motion filed by the mother in this case, well, before I go to that, let me ask you, isn't it true that you have refused to allow mother to have any contact with the children since you took them in October of 2023, unless she saw them at your home? Isn't that true?
No.
Okay, so have you allowed mom to have contact with the children outside your presence?
I have not been able to contact her. She changed her phone number and blocked me. I haven't been able to get a hold of her.
Okay, so you have not, so she hasn't had any contact with the children except in your presence. Isn't that true?
No, my daughter has a phone and she talks to her every day.
Okay. Has mother seen her children in person?
Yes.
Since you took the children?
Yes,
yes
we
no?
met her. Yes, we met her
okay.
at in Derby.
Mr. McCartney, it's just a yes or no. Has she seen the children in person since she took them?
Yes.
And it only occurred one time, isn't that true?
No.
How many times has it occurred?
At least 2, because she came to a basketball game as well.
Okay, so she came to one basketball game and then you allowed her to see him one time at your home. Isn't that true?
No.
Okay, where did it occur?
We met in Derby at KFC.
You guys know that there's KFC buffets? Like all you can eat KFC buffets. In fact, I'm gonna have to look that up and see if they still exist. I really want to take a trip down to Washington State to go to Jack in the Box and to get biscuits from KFC. You know exactly, Kay, that is exactly right. The biscuits. Biscuits and gravy. But yeah, it was a KFC buffet, Tin Man. It used to be in like Bellingham, I think. Like I remember going there when we went shopping in at Bellis Fair Mall in Washington when I was younger. In my younger days, back as Canadians do go across the border to Ross Dress for Less and shop there, amazed at all of the amazing deals. And then in the parking lot, all across the parking lot, all you see are all these Canadian people ripping tags off of their brand new clothes and shoving them into suitcases. Terrible. I would never advocate doing that. Always obey all customs laws, people.
And Mr. McCartney, mother has alleged in her motion that she has concerns about your use of marijuana. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I read the.
If the court were to order a drug test, would you be positive?
If I took a drug test?
Yes.
What do you, I mean, what are you talking about, for meth or something, or
for any drugs at all? What would you be, would you test positive for marijuana?
Why would you say meth? Now that's what I'm thinking. We were thinking marijuana. Wait, Muriel, you're not saying buffet or parfait. I know. I agree, Jonathan Miller, but honestly, as somebody who just likes the biscuits at KFC, and gravy, those things keep quite well in warmers, to be honest. So for me, and the mashed potatoes and corn, like I like weird things from KFC. I don't want the chicken. I want chicken. I don't want it. Um, but again, I am a weird person to go places with and eat. That's why I like cruising so much. I know everyone makes fun of me for this, but when you go on a cruise, you can order whatever you want to eat. They have breakfast sandwiches too. Jonathan Miller, I'm addicted to their tacos. $1.39 or something for 2 tacos. Holy shit. Been dreaming about them ever since I had them in Houston. I heard Creed talking about them one time, and then when I was in Houston, I stayed near a Jack in the Box, and I walked out there in 115-degree heat and got them, and it was glorious. Yeah, I like tacos. I love me some tacos. KFC? Biscuits only refer to the kind that you have with tea or cookies. Robbie, but biscuits in the States would never refer to a cookie, I wouldn't think. No, they would be cookies. Would you like a cookie? My Nana though would say, "Oh, would you like a bicky? Would you like a bicky? Would you like a biscuit? A bicky?" Um, and it would be like a hobnob, like a digestive biscuit, half chocolate. That's Nana's specialty. Keeps them in the fridge.
Or any other illegal drugs?
I might, yes.
And what would you test positive for?
Delta 8, THC, something like that. I also take an antidepressant. Can't
Is
think
there
of
any other drugs that would come up on a drug test?
No.
And have you used marijuana since the kids have been living with you?
Not to my knowledge, no.
You don't know if you have?
No, I have not.
So when was the last time you used drugs?
Do you consider Delta 8 a drug? If it's illegal?
Let me ask you this way. Anything that would test positive on a drug test, when was the last time you utilized that, other than your antidepressant?
In the evening. So probably on a Sunday, last Sunday or something. I don't know.
So last Sunday you used Delta 8?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
I have a Delta 8 pen right here that I bought in Florida. And here's how good / not good this, because you guys see me suck on my pen all day long. It's still here. It's still full. It doesn't get you high. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does, but it didn't get me high at all. And they don't seem bothered by me traveling with it. I fucking bought it down in Florida, went through customs with it, went through airport security, all the way through. So, but to be fair, I also did that with real pod. So that was an accident. And I'll deny it. But okay, Jonathan Miller asked a very important question. What on earth is a digestive biscuit? Delta 8 is, okay, and here's my ADHD, and you can tell I'm unmedicated. Let's just focus, Paisley. Digestive biscuit. A digestive biscuit is a sort of shitty cookie, okay? It's not a cookie, and it's not good, but it's better than anything else you might be offered by your grandma with a cup of tea. You have it with a cup of tea. So everybody has a cuppa of tea in the afternoon, and then you have a bicky or a biscuit with it. But it's like I'll look it up. Like I can't remember what the brand name is that Nana always gets. But like I would know them to see them, but I don't remember. I think they're actually called hobnobs, but that might just be the chocolate ones. Digestives, McVitie's. And it says, oh yeah, see, look, see, they're digestives, the original. So they're like a baby cookie. Like if you think, do you know what an arrowroot cookie is? For babies, like wee babbies, when they would give, they're in a yellow box, arrowroot. Those are sweeter than a digestive cookie and have different texture, but along the same lines. Nobody's really happy that they're getting an arrowroot cookie, but they'll eat it if there isn't anything else because it's better than like a vegetable cracker or something, or a cracker. That's sort of like a digestive biscuit would be like. And I don't know, it's not a scone. No, 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 no. Why can't I explain? Okay, here's the hobnobs. So the hobnobs, you can see hobnobs, McVitie's, that's the brand. Yeah, arrowroot cookies, right? Like for kids. So they're not white, but I don't know what an equivalent would be. But if you have a British section in your grocery store, I would almost guarantee you will find them there. They'll be right beside the British chocolates and stuff, and you'll see McVitie's cookies or biscuits.
When's the last time you used marijuana?
Do what?
Do what now? The last time I used marijuana, literally as we're speaking.
Sorry.
When is the last time you used marijuana?
Years. I have a CDL that I keep withstanding since I've been 18 years old.
You can be a sex offender with a CDL? That's interesting. So obviously Delta 8 doesn't show up on a drug test then as marijuana. Otherwise, why would he risk it with his CDL smoking it? And let me be clear, arrowroot biscuits are not the same as McVitie's biscuits in the sense, I think a CDL is a commercial driver's license, but I think that like they're still uh they're still like for kids, whereas the McVitie's are for adults. Like an adult buys them. They're not always shared with kids. In fact, they're like the adult cookie, like the cookie you steal from Nana. And do we get Skittles from the US or Europe? I don't know. I don't buy Skittles, so I'll look next time I go, Jonathan. But remember, we get our jalapeno rings from Spain, so shit's crazy around here.
When isn't it true that the mother has contacted you multiple times since you took the children in October of 2023, asking to be able to see the children?
Say that again. You're cutting out. I'm sorry.
Isn't it true since you took took custody of the children in October of 2023 that Ms. McCartney has contacted you multiple times asking to see the children?
I haven't been contacted from her since December 26th.
Okay, so prior to December 26th, she had been contacting you about seeing the children, correct?
Well, my daughter.
So is that yes?
They back and forth, yeah, and they've went back and forth to Augusta to their grandma's. She had opportunity to see them.
So you think that she could have an opportunity through her mother to see the children? Is that correct?
I mean, that's where they were staying to go to school. So yes, I would assume that's where they lived.
Okay, you didn't have contact with Ms. McCartney to know if to allow exchanges between you and the mother?
I did not have contact with her since December 26th.
Okay, my question to you was prior to December 26th, Mom had been contacting you asking to see the children. Isn't that true?
One time.
The Smarties are incredibly different. Ours are better. I'm gonna leave it at that. They're real. They're fucking. Your Smarties are not Smarties. Our Smarties are smart. I can't. So difficult to explain. They're so much better. But yes, they sound like M&Ms if you were to shake the box of them, and that's the thing. They come in a box. Our Smarties come in a box. Fuck, am I gonna have to go buy? Okay. All right, that's it. Friday night. I'm buying Skittles. I'm buying Smarties. What else should I buy? I'll buy some ketchup chips. What other Canadian candy do you want me to buy? And I will bring them to our party tomorrow night and show you all the wrappers. And then eat them, probably.
Fiona, I don't have any further questions at this time.
All right. Do you wish?
Okay, this is what I think a Smartie is in USA. Weird that I have these, because these are what I would consider exclusively Halloween candy. These are called Rockets in Canada, but they are a chalky circular disc like this. You see? See how there's like chalk on my fingers? It's coming off. And they're rolled up and they come like this. I believe that these are Smarties in the United States. These are not Smarties here in Canada. These are called Rockets. Now, no, stop it. They are not called Smarties. Look, here's a packaged one. This is Rockets. Do you see? Rockets. These are Rockets. First of all, where did I get these? These were given to me by my sister. These are not Smarties. Seriously, you guys. These are the reject candies, the ones that nobody wants. This is legit what you like get at the end of your Halloween. You have this left, and you're like, oh my god, it's either this or eat a digestive biscuit. I guess I'll eat these or the digest. Like these have been here for quite a while. Fake candy. Is the logo the same? You guys like these? I hate these. I hate the feel of them. I hate them. But, so Smarties in Canada, I'll buy some tomorrow. They come in a long box that's thin. Birthday goodie bag. Weird. I mean, this came in my Christmas bag from my sister, but I figured it was leftover from Halloween. And as you can see, it's still left over in my house. I haven't touched them. Would never. But Smarties, like the box will be the size of this phone, a little bit thicker, maybe that much thicker, and you can shake it like this, and they sound like M&Ms. They look like prettier M&Ms. The color is prettier. We have like purple, but a light purple, like lots of pretty sort of pastel-y colors, and the shape is slightly different than an M&M. They're like flatter, and there's nothing inside. There's just chocolate. And it's delicious. It's like a nice milk chocolate. But the outer candy coating is very similar to an M&M, but there's nothing peanut butter about it, and the inside chocolate is 1,000% better. Shake it like a Polaroid. Yeah. No, but you shake it. Everybody shakes them. Oh, and the commercial and the whole point of Smarties and basically what happened was this. When you got a pack of Smarties, inevitably there used to be a commercial series where it was like, how do you eat your Smarties? And people would like define themselves by what color Smarties they eat first. Like everybody says they save the red for last. And that, because I guess you don't get as many red Smarties in them. This is coming back to me now. I really didn't remember this that much, but the Smarties. I swear to God, I bet it's exactly the right thing. Save the red for last. When you eat your Smarties, do you eat yeah. Oh, for goodness sakes. Anyways, Oh, it's a 1984 commercial. That's before I was born. How does that make any sense? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, it's saying, what does he say? He said it's basically like when you eat your Smarties. What is it? Here, I'll have to say it to you because or else I'm gonna get fucking ripped down by copyright. But basically, when you eat your Smarties, which ones do you eat? Blah 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 blah. Save the red ones for last. And it just grew and grew and grew and into a big thing. That's not the commercial I remember, but it's something like that. Anyways, maybe we'll have to do commercials when members only. That'd be fun. Okay, let's keep going with court, Paisley. And that should I try one of these? Do they have different flavors? Are all of them different flavors, or are they the same? Because there's different colors in here, but they all look like medicine to me. I go for a pink one. Peach. No, I don't want that. I want yellow. Like it's a pill.
This is,
You know, I'd like to call my client.
okay. All right, ma'am, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yeah, okay, we need to unmute you. All right, whenever you're ready.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Sarah Jane McCartney.
Okay, and you're the mother of the two children you have with Danny McCartney, Rudy, and Brooklyn, correct?
That is correct.
And Brooklyn is in 6th grade and she's a girl, correct?
Yes, she is.
And Rudy's in 5th grade, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And prior to...
Is Rudy a boy? Oh, they're sour. A little bit sour. Is it supposed to be sour? Oh, my goodness. Oh. Am I 10 years too late to the internet to do the sour stuff and tasting stuff? I think I am. Whoa, but my... Whoa.
The end of October of 2023, what was the parenting schedule that you and Mr. McCartney had been following for the children?
My children were with me during the week and they saw him Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Were the children usually returned to you on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been following that schedule?
Since 2018.
Okay. And Mr. McCartney was having visitation every weekend, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Were the children living with your mother?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were they living with you?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And does your mother live in Wichita?
No, she does not.
Okay. Where does she live?
She lives in Augusta.
Okay. Okay.
That's where he said they were living, in Augusta. And that little... No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sounds like a horse. No, ma'am. Soap gum, right, Kay? We have that in Canada too. I never liked that. I always wondered, but again, I taste cilantro is soapy to me. But to me, it was always no. We've still got the rest of them. What point is Mariella at? She was way behind, and now she's at the end. She's already done. Why? Okay, I'm gonna say that was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Maybe as I've grown older, I have I appreciate it a little bit more than maybe I did. Yeah, I do like sour things. I've always liked sour things, but I've always liked really sour things, and I don't like the texture. For me, yeah, I think textures have been a really big issue for me for a long time. and it's like chalky textures I just don't really like. But yeah, I don't like cilantro because of that. Also, I think I say cilantro weird. I'm realizing that now. Just like pasta. I grew the cilantro in the garage after I moved the car to park it on the street. We're getting plaza pasta tonight. Ooh, I hate pumpkin candies and candy corn. Bleh. Bleh. Who put who in timeout? Nobody put anybody in timeout. I really promise they didn't.
And but prior to October of 2023, where did you live?
I lived in Augusta.
Okay, but you did not live with your mother.
No, ma'am.
And the children resided with you, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and were you the one that would get them to and from school generally?
I would drop them off at my mom's at 7:15 in the morning because I had to be to work at 8 and my mom would take them to school.
Okay. And what happened in October of 2020? Well, let me ask you this. Let's see. Did Mr. McCartney have visitation for the weekend of October 27th, 2023 to October 29th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And then were you to do an exchange on Sunday, October 29th?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened?
I was ill with the flu and I asked him to bring the children to me and he refused.
Okay. And then after that, what happened?
He said, "Oh, I'm going to bring him back to Augusta," and never did, refused to bring them back, then enrolled them in schools.
Okay. And then enrolled them in the Mulvane schools?
Correct.
Did he ever tell you that he was going to do that before he did it?
No.
Did he ever ask it for your permission?
No.
Okay. And then, were you in treatment at the time that on October 29th of 2023?
No, I was not.
Okay. What happened after that? Well, let me ask you this. Did you end up enrolling in treatment November 9th of 2023?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you do this on your own volition?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Nobody told you that this is something that you had to do. There was no court order.
No, ma'am.
And you don't have any DUIs, arrests, or convictions, correct?
Ma'am.
Okay. And so did you do this as a precaution to take care of any problems that you might have?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then you have successfully completed that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And when did you successfully completed that on January 9th of 2024?
That is correct.
I don't know what dye both of them used that has put them into fucking weird mode, but I don't like the tone at all. I don't like the tone coming. I don't like the tone going. I don't like any of this. If I'm I'm having issues with writing off rehab like it's like, oh, like I just like knocked that out of the park. I just like thought I mean, I'm like uh, I'm not saying that there aren't people that can quit their vices in different ways, and I don't say that there's only one way to do that. What my problem is that she's underplaying that in a way that either says you didn't need it or you think she's the victim. No, no, because she ain't 34, right? Look at her face. No offense. She's younger than me? That's crazy. I'm so mad I don't have real Smarties here, but I'm gonna tell you something. Real Smarties in my house, they don't last long at all. That would not be something. And in fact, when COVID first started, there was a stay-at-home order everywhere, etc. But my daughter, we were staying at home, and I went and bought like a bunch of candy. I went nuts, and I like set up this like candy bar at home for her because I was like, oh, I think, it'll be a good distraction. Like I was just trying to think of things to have at the house, and like she was younger back then. And anyways, so I fucking decked out this little table with all different kinds of chocolate bars and candies and different things, and I had a little note on it. It was like, you get one a day. If you want more, do a chore or something like that. And but of course, do you know who ended up eating them all? Me. Me and my fat ass.
Okay. And then how far is the Augusta schools from the Mr. McCartney's home?
I would say about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Did at any time he contact you about making efforts to try to keep them in the school that they were in?
No, he did not.
Okay. Have the children always attended Augusta schools?
Yes, they have.
Okay. And how far do you currently reside from Augusta?
An hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. And you have now moved to Sedan, Kansas, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And what did you move there? What was the reason that you moved there?
I moved here because I was offered a position through the pilot program since I was so successful with my treatment, and they offered me a position here at the facility. I work at the facility.
Oh, that is always a red flag for me when a facility hires a newly graduated person to work with other people struggling with addiction. In fact, that is one of the biggest red flags that you as a consumer might note. If you go to a facility and there are staff members that have recently graduated, that's actually incredibly concerning. That tells me something about the program that you were in, and it's not good.
And that's why I came here. I have a large support system of here.
Okay. And since this case has gone on, has Mr. McCartney made any comments to you about his intent to move to Harper, Kansas?
Yes, he has not. My daughter told me that.
And what did she tell you?
She said that
Objection, hearsay? Child hearsay?
they were planning to move to Harper and that she did not want to move there.
Okay. And has she has your daughter stated concerns about being at her father's home?
Yes, she has.
And what are those?
His drinking and drug use.
And what type of drugs did she reference?
Marijuana.
Okay. Are there also what about your daughter's relationship with Mr. McCartney's girlfriend?
No, they do. My daughter does not like her, and it's been an issue since they began dating, and she has said derogatory things to both of my children.
Okay. Has your daughter stated anything about not wanting to go over there?
Yes, my ex-husband did not see my daughter for 3.5 months prior to the last weekend that he took them. And my daughter had decided to go because she thought maybe it would be good to see her dad. And then that's when he decided not to return them.
Okay. So right before he took the children in October 29th of 2023 and didn't return them, before that weekend, he saw your daughter that weekend. Is that correct? Of October 29th, 2023?
Yeah. But hadn't seen her for 3 months prior, 3.5 months prior.
And why is that? Why had your daughter not seen her father?
Because she did not get along and she didn't feel safe there because of the drinking and the drug use, and did not get along with my ex-husband's girlfriend.
Had you advised him of those concerns?
Yes, I had.
Okay. And were you invested, was there some sort of allegation made in sometime in the fall of 2023 to the Department of Children and Families?
There were 7 investigations that I am aware of against Mr. McCartney and Miss Green.
Okay. Do you know what the result of those investigations were?
I don't know all of them, but they came to talk to me on several occasions.
Did you make the reports to DCF?
Absolutely not.
So of those 7 investigations, you're not the one that turned in Mr. McCartney or his girlfriend?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then were you also investigated in the fall of 2023?
Yes, I was.
And what were the result of that investigation of alleged physical abuse of your 2 children?
Completely unfounded.
Okay, so they're both unsubstantiated?
Correct.
And you received the letter from DCF that showed that, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and prior to your children being switched schools, were they doing well in the Augusta schools?
Absolutely. My son had one-on-one care with his team, and my daughter has had straight A's ever since I've had her.
Okay. Have there ever been any issues with their attendance during the time that they lived with you?
No.
Okay. And had you, and what kind of relationship do you have with both of your children?
I have an excellent relationship.
It's just so hard to believe. Everything was perfect. Everybody was perfect. Nobody was ever late. Nobody ever this. Nobody ever that. It's just too much. I'm sorry. But no, I just am not picking it up. You can lay it down, but I'm not picking it up. And I think you know what this case needs more than anything, other than a swift kick in the pants? An ad litem. It needs an ad litem.
With my children.
Okay.
My son.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Son and I's relationship has been harder since he moved there, but I don't see him every day, but I've always had a great relationship with both of my kids.
Okay. And how many times have you seen your children since Mr. McCartney took them at the end of October 2023?
I've seen my children twice. Once because my daughter invited me to her basketball game and I showed up. And then once when we all met at KFC.
Okay. Had you asked Mr. McCartney on other occasions to be able to see your children?
I had.
Okay. And what was his response?
His response was, you can see my children at my residence.
Okay. And did you have an issue with that?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because there is a history of violence between he and myself and me and his girlfriend. And I did not feel safe and did not feel it was appropriate for me to go to their residence to have visits with my children when he has no grounds to do so.
Okay. And you didn't feel comfortable going to their home because of that?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Were there instances of domestic violence during your relationship with Mr. McCartney?
Absolutely.
And what were those?
Night, Amy. If your phone's dying, sorry, I must have hit pause. Look at her face. Sometimes I love the pause screens that we get just because of when I hit it. The judge is like, this is enough. She's like, oh my God. The lawyer's looking like that anime. And then him down here, I guess he's just talking though. That scared the shit out of me. I just don't like her tone. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I can just tell you right now. I don't know. Just don't like it. I don't like it at all. At all. And did she just say she had like violence with the girlfriend? Seems very weird.
Permanent damage to my back, black eyes. When I filed for divorce, I lived in a safe house for 4.5 months.
Okay. And was that the result of physical violence by Mr. McCartney?
It was.
Okay. Were the police ever involved in any of those instances?
Yes, they were.
Was Mr. McCartney ever arrested?
No.
Have you had contact with your children by phone or text message since they were taken from you at the end of October 2023?
By phone.
Okay, do you have more contact with? I mean, which children do you primarily contact with? And what's
I
the name?
speak to both of them. I speak to my daughter daily.
Okay, and how is she doing at her current school, to your
She
knowledge?
doesn't like it. She wants to live with me.
Okay, and how does she feel about the current living arrangement?
She doesn't like it.
Okay, what about your son?
My son doesn't like the school district because it's very large. It's twice as big as what he was used to. And he doesn't have the one-on-one attention that he had previously. And so it's been a struggle for him to adjust.
Okay, and so what are how is the Sedan school comparable with like Augusta or the Mulvane, to your knowledge?
It's actually, the Sedan school district is actually smaller. I've taken a tour of the school. They have an excellent special education department, great sports teams, and
Well, Lucy, I think we have to break it down a little bit different because the dad didn't have the girlfriend. I think the dad had the girlfriend before he had to move the kids in. So I don't think that was done intentionally, like in a bad faith. I'm getting vibes of I'm just getting vibes. I'm getting vibes. I don't agree with him moving schools. I don't know why he would even be able to do that. But speaking of children, who's mine?
all of that, great teachers, administration, all of the things.
And how far do you currently live from the school?
I live maybe a block and a half, 2 blocks.
And how many bedrooms do you have in your home?
I do have 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms.
And would both children have their own room?
That is correct.
Okay, and does anybody else live with you other than if the court would allow your 2 children and yourself?
No.
Okay, and to your knowledge, what is Mr. McCartney's home arrangement with like bedrooms and such?
Mr. McCartney currently lives in his girlfriend's father's home. There is not enough bedrooms for my children. My 11 and 12-year-old currently sleep in bunk beds in a shared room together, while her son has his own room and they have a room of their own in a 3-bedroom.
Do you have concerns about your 11 and 12-year-old boy and girl sharing a room?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you think it's appropriate that age for them to be sharing a room?
Absolutely not.
Has your daughter stated any, concerns about her comfort level with sharing a room at this age?
Not so much, other than she just started her period and, privacy is
Obviously nothing of your fucking concern because you're just blasting that shit out on the internet, Mom. WTF? I don't like this. It's using the children. That's exactly what this is. And it's feeling yucky. I want an ad litem in here. The registered sex offender status. If he's within regulations of his registered sex offender status and he's already completed his probation, what more do you ask of somebody? She had children with him after he was a registered sex offender. How can she now come back and say, oh, that's fucked up? That seems to me it seems to me information that was known prior to the last order in lawyer speak.
nicer, but she is very protective of her brother.
Okay. And are you asking the court to have the children revert back to living with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And are you clean and sober?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And with that, the children would again have to switch schools. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. But do you think it's in their best interest to live primarily with you, even if that means they have to switch schools now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If the court is not inclined to do so, and the court as stated, once the children have finished out the school year at their current school, would you be able to transport them on a shared schedule, having equal parenting time? Or would that be difficult with your work?
It's not ideal, but I would do anything for my children.
Okay, so if the court says we'll give you 50-50 right now, would you be willing to make that drive to have them stay at the Mulvane schools?
I would prefer that they be moved with me.
Okay. And the
I think it was a 2016 offense. They're born in January and November 2012. Okay, so the kids preceded the sex offense, but I don't know, it was known before the last order and the last, even if not known before she had kids with him, it's been known since she was letting them stay there on the weekends and having shared custody. I think that every court is going to take that into serious consideration, always. But I also think that courts probably think about and pay a lot of attention to the fact that somebody may, first of all, his offenses weren't against children. Thank God. It's not making it okay what he did, but they weren't against children, and therefore that risk level is less than if it was. That would be a huge, way different concern for me. And then secondly, I'm just not getting a caring vibe about her kids. She just said, I would do anything for my kids. That's not what it comes across as. And I only go on like the feel, and I'm often wrong. I say that a lot, and I eat my words sometimes too. But my point is, I'm getting a vibe that she is just, yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe. Not the good kind of vibe. I mean, I'm not getting good vibes from anybody much. I'll tell you that. But I think, again, that if these are the two parents that we gotta, I mean, I don't understand. I think shared custody, working towards that would probably be the best thing. And an ad litem, you know? I think that also, once again, as I say, I've said this before and I'll say it again, get counsel, please. Because I feel maybe part of why I feel like that is just out of a little bit of defensiveness for an unrepresented litigant. I just feel that a little bit. And maybe that's swaying how I'm feeling about this. Maybe not. But that could be. Just how I look at these hearings after watching so many. This is pretty aggressive. And like she's aggressive. Like there's just a lot of aggressiveness going on right here. Yeah. And I only had one energy drink today, so. But I think that if dad had gone when mom went to rehab, he would probably still have an emergency custody order at this point. It's very soon. And again, her working at a rehab facility convinces me of very little other than of the unprofessionalism of the treatment facility that she went to.
To schools, is that closer than what Mulvane would be to you?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, is Augusta more of it's significantly closer than the Mulvane school would be?
Yes.
So if the court says, they don't want to switch them schools again, but if they went back to their previous school, would that even be better than having them stay at Mulvane?
Absolutely.
And would you be able to get them to school so they could attend Augusta schools again?
Absolutely.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't have any further questions at this time.
Oh, now so he's got to cross-examine her. Oh, shit. I think, Jonathan, you're right there. Psych evals for both. put an ad litem in place to do some home studies and 60 days, 90 days to come back. Yeah.
Are you able to see that your daughter gets to her basketball game on Saturday and her tournament on Monday evening, apparently?
Yes.
No, I'm asking Ms. McCartney.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are you able to see that your daughter, if you would get your children this Friday, are you able to make sure she goes to her game on Saturday and her tournament on Monday?
I could make arrangements for that. I am scheduled to work, however.
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yeah, I can hear you. So do you have any questions for Ms. McCartney? Do you have any, this is cross-examination for you since you're self-represented. You cannot testify or make statements or be argumentative, but you can ask leading questions, yes and no questions. You can ask her questions as part of your cross-examination of her.
So I could ask her if she was completely sober before I took the kids, and like she's asking, like she's attaining to, that I'm the reason that she went to rehab.
Yep, you can ask her whatever questions you want.
Okay, I don't know.
To, and then I'll rule.
But I was just gonna state that Friday the
state anything. You need to ask her questions.
Okay. No, I don't have a lawyer, so I don't want to ask her any questions.
What? What? This is the time that you realize that you should have got a lawyer? This is fucking go time, Danny. Danny, this is go time. God. We've come so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
I was just Friday. I have the kids are out of school and I have them scheduled for dentist appointments, and that they've been on that for months. So that would really suck. But I'd have to get them on the dentist schedule again. They've been on.
Do they have school on Monday?
No.
He made dentist appointment for them. That's pretty good. That's proactive parenting. I'm just gonna say that. Maybe that sounds easy to. Maybe it's just because with my ADHD, I have a hard time with that.
When is their spring break?
I would have to look that up for sure. Certain.
What time is her game on Saturday?
It is at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And it's in Rose Hill.
Okay. This is the problem. I tell people, especially pro se people, when they do their own divorces and custody, and I understand that there were attorneys involved in your cases, but nonetheless, I try to make it clear, and I assume attorneys will make it clear to their clients. Do not change whatever the court order is without going and getting a new court order. Or if you make a change, as soon as practically possible, you need to get to the courthouse and change the court order to reflect what you are actually doing. Because when people make all kinds of changes, they don't change the court records, then the court file and the orders on file are not keeping up with what's going on with the parties. So, I understand when people separate and they don't have any plan in place, that there's some de facto things that can occur before an action gets filed. But once an action is filed and there is an order on file, the court expects that you follow the order until you make a request to change the order. And I think that we are quite open to pro se motions by people. if you contact the court and tell them what's going on. We try to give you direction. You can fill out your own paperwork. Nobody did anything here to involve the court, who has jurisdiction of the children from the time that you guys got divorced and I entered a custody order. And that custody order was in your divorce decree.
Feel better, Chris. We're thinking of you. Thank you again for the Valentine's gift. Tomorrow's candy night, so make sure to tune back in, and I'm gonna have real Smarties to show you.
And it was filed or signed by me on October the 30th of 2019. And from what I can tell with your file, that's the current order in place. And in that order, Mr. McCartney, it says specifically that you're not to remove the kids from the Augusta school without a written agreement between the two of you and an order or an order of the court. That's in your order. I expect people to read their orders. I expect them to go by their orders and tell her unless they get them changed. So the problem is, who do I punish and how do I punish them? And how do I prevent punishing the children? And I don't know the answer to that because I don't have enough information. I don't have information from the kids. I don't have information from the school counselors. I don't have information from the people in Augusta. I don't have information from the people in Mulvey. I don't have information. I did just see the conviction information from 2018 because we have access to that with you, Mr. McCartney, but I don't have the SRS reports. I don't know what the claims have been since I ordered this arrangement. So I think all I can do is revert back to the 223 schedule, starting with mom on Friday. And so I assume their appointments are done by 3. She can pick up the children, and your daughter may have to miss her last basketball game unless she can get her there. And then return her Monday for evening tournament. And then go back to the schedule, the rotation that you are on. And then I'm going to have a trial right after the beginning of summer. Oh, hang on. Give me just a minute. My computer's going dead. Shoot. I didn't know my battery was that low. So I'm going to have to decide whether they're going to go to Harper School and whether or not they're going to go to Sedan. I don't even know. I don't think that's West Elk. I think that's a different, they have their own school system, but I guess I'm going to have to hear a day or two of testimony. Meanwhile, I'm going to appoint a guardian ad litem, Josh Andrews, to investigate the circumstances. He can compile the information, make a recommendation to the court what's in the kid's best interest. Because I can't figure that out right now. So I don't know how well you're going to be able to make this schedule work. I am not going to pull the kids out of school right now. I do want Miss McCartney to have the kids for spring break that week. And I'm going to set this for review in April. And if Mr. Andrews recommends that the kids go back to Augusta, that's what we'll do.
Even
But
though
I just I don't want to do anything today. It's obvious that they may have to change schools next year. I just don't know what's best for them. We'll have a trial on that. So we can review the case April the 11th, or let's see, I had a better day here, I think. March 25th.
It's my birthday. Are they going to pick my birthday? Oh my God. We couldn't forget it if it happens on my birthday. Do you see how excited I got? That's my birthday. Yeah. Okay. What's it gonna be? I got my pen out to write on the calendar over here.
To see how it's going. Does that work for you in the morning, Miss Gehring?
Is that by Zoom, the same docket?
Yes. Well,
that works for me.
Yeah.
What time in the
9,
morning?
30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30. What would you like?
10:30.
Okay.
And did you say it's by Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the 25th? Okay.
Yeah. It's a status.
Okay.
I'll do an order appointing Mr. Andrews as a GAL so he can get started on the case.
And Your Honor, so the order is that the kids are not to change schools and that we go back to the prior court order for visitation that's in effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And that she get spring break.
Okay. And Mom gets spring break. Okay. Do you want me to do an order?
Yes. So if
Okay.
he goes to Harper, he can't change them either. They have to stay in
yeah.
Harper to finish out the semester. And then can you try the case on June 3rd, June 5th, or June 6th if I set it for a full day?
What were the dates again? June 3rd, 5th, or 6th?
Yes.
The 5th works probably the best for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna schedule this from 9 to 5 on Wednesday, June 5th for a trial. I'm gonna keep it. What do you have on Thursday, the 6th?
I don't have anything. I can keep that open too.
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 days for you because if we end up having therapists and school records and yeah, there could be quite a bit of testimony. Grandmas and
Oh, fuck. Oh, we're in for it now. We are invested. I'm gonna have to remember to. I can't trust them to leave this up again. I'll have to record it somehow. By June, figure that out, Paisley.
girlfriends and whoever else.
And that's in person, correct?
This will be in person, yes. And this is a determination for me to decide primary, residential, and school. Because shared's not going to work. Even if she moves back to Augusta, close to her mom. Harper's too far. And I just don't think long-term the 223 is going to work. I think somebody has to have primary residential that has the kids for the school.
Okay.
In the school.
You telling me I have to go to Kansas? Like a work trip? Probably cheap in Kansas, eh? Guess I can't really record it from the gallery legally. Also, I have this whole thing about like not showing up to courts that I record. Perfect. Perfection.
So I don't want the parties visiting with the kids about this custody or litigation other than to tell them what the court ordered today. let the guardian ad litem visit with them about how they felt about Augusta and how they feel about Mulvane, how they feel about Harper, and how they feel about Sedan, and how they feel about not seeing one parent or the other, and how they feel about their athletics and the other people in their lives that have been brought into their lives and all that kind of thing. Let them express that through an independent party, please. Did you have a question, Mr. McCartney?
Nope.
Do you understand what we're doing?
Yes. So I dates written down. And do I need to get on a lawyer then? Because that was my proactive trying to do. I didn't do a very good job, I guess. I'm sorry of that, Your Honor.
Well, yeah,
I tried getting
one,
one, but
something in December, but you should have filed something in October, especially if you're going to take the kids out of school contrary to a court order. And obviously that's something that's going to be not bode in your favor overall. And look at
Lucy, what for?
Looking at things when we have the trial. I mean, they can still show that you violated a court order, withheld the kids. That's one of the considerations for custody is one parent alienating the other or not promoting a relationship with the other. That's a factor. So it still may come up to haunt you, but for now they're going to stay at the school, and hopefully Miss McCartney can make it work. She says she will, because she'll do anything for her kids, but she's got quite a bit on her plate. I think that there needs to be a way for the parties to communicate. Do you think they can do that about the kids by text or email, Ms. Gehring, or Family Wizard, or what do you suggest? The cost of the guardian ad litem are going to have to be shared 50-50. So they've got that cost already.
Your Honor, I don't know. I haven't discussed that with my client. I'd be happy with her to answer that if she'd rather do it by text. I think it probably needs to be done in writing some way, either by text message or one of those apps that allows communication. Ms. McCartney, what do you prefer?
Text messaging is fine, and he has had my phone number. I spoke to him last via text on January 25th of this year.
Okay. So if there are any problems, one can't pick up or can't get them to school, the priority is making sure they attend school, making sure they get time with each parent, and then making sure that they're not punished in terms of not being able to do any extracurricular things. So do your best, and I'll get you to trial as soon as I can, and I'll check the status of things, and I'll get a guardian ad litem involved to start.
Your Honor, could we have I don't know if Mr. McCartney's going to get an attorney, but could he provide us just with his current contact information so we can make sure we don't have an issue?
Yeah.
If that would be okay, if he could provide that.
Yes.
No, we don't need that. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Guys, what an evening. It was a long one, but not quite as long as yesterday. Jonathan Miller pointed out we are finished at a reasonable hour. It's only 6:28 p.m. I do hope that you enjoyed tonight's stream. I certainly did. I love how much conversation it prompted, all that kind of stuff. The thing is that these are decisions to be made by the judge and not us, but we are allowed to pontificate on them. I have it written down on my calendar. My birthday for the next one, March 25th. It's a Monday. And then we are going to celebrate my birthday. I'm just joking. Yeah, everyone thank you again for being so kind and compassionate with our friend Mikey. As our thoughts are with him. Hugs to him. Mikey's the real deal, obviously. We know that. So my birthday is March 25th. March 25th. Anyways, I really hope that you had a great night tonight. Please remember that I love you. I am proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Also, do you know how easy you can shut off a live stream? It shocks me that somebody would get arrested on live stream. Just saying. Bye.